All right, gang, rock and roll. Here we go. The Red Zone 2023, year number 2. Jason Zaleski, Dan Ross. Studio is the plan for most of this year.
It's easier.
This is comfortable.
It's easier.
Yeah, this is comfortable. It's cozy. We've got TVs in front of us. We've got other devices and ways to watch these games. You should too. And let's first, though, take you through today's games. I don't think, Dan, we can start talking about today's games without talking about the game. It's the 56th edition of Edgar Stratford. You've seen a few of these. We were there last year. I told you before we went on air, I'll go through the schedule, but I just thought, let's pause here for a second. And, Stratford and Edgar, and, these teams have played in the same division. They've played divisions apart. Now that's 6 Stratford and 7 Edgar. They're 18 miles apart, and whenever these two get together, the stupid phrase, you can throw out the records, but with them it's true. And you throw out the records when Stratford and Edgar get together.
Yeah, and they're not even in the same conference.
Not anymore.
Right? It doesn't make any sense. And 2 of the best teams in the area, for given the size of the schools, just programs. It's some people, it's their game of the year.
Yeah, some kids, some dads.
Yep.
Some people in town. I see on the screen there's already people on the Edgar side sitting over there. 20 minutes to kick off. Edgar's going through their paces, Stratford doing the same. We've got Wrightstown and Wapaka on our screen, and let's continue then to go through the rest of today's games. It's 2 Tigers going at it. Marshfield is at New Richmond. Marshfield got beat pretty handily last week by Hudson, 31-0. And Dan and I talked off camera, my Tigers, but you score 0. It's not a good start.
Not a good week 1. You have to score.
All right. Speaking of Hudson, they're just right down the street at Gerke Park. We're on Main Street in Stevens Point, by the way. If you're walking down Main Street, you can stop and wave. Some kids, as Dan was coming in, asked if they could come on and rap. We said no. It disappointed those kids. But if you're in the neighborhood, stop by and wave, and maybe we'll throw you a shirt or something like that. But anyway, so Hudson is at Spash. Spash also looked rather rough last week. McQuantico. Now McQuantico's a good team. Hudson's a good team, but still, Spash dropped the home opener, and now Hudson comes to town, just beating Marshfield 31-0.
Not easier.
For sure, not easier. Spencer Columbus at Colby. Speaking of teams that weren't able to find the scoring column last week, Spencer Columbus hung a 0 at the hands of St. Croix Central. There we go. We got Dan Leonard on the TV there. And so Colby beat Neilsville Granton last week. Neilsville Granton has struggled for a number of years.
Spencer, not easier tonight.
Colby, right? Yeah.
Against Colby.
Against Colby, right, yeah. Spencer Columbus, not an easier game than St. Croix Central, or I think it was St. Croix Central. Whoever, St. Croix XYZ pounded them 70-0. The Rockets took it at home. So now they go about 8 miles up the road to Colby. But that figures to be a lopsided game, and we don't figure to be commenting on that game much.
Perennial powerhouse.
Colby, they won state 2 years ago.
Yep.
So, you get beat by Colby, you join the crowd.
Yeah.
It'd be an upset if the Rockets were to go to Colby and win tonight.
Colby Edgar later this year.
In a few weeks, 3-4 weeks, something like that. That'll be a good one. La Crosse Central against my Memorial Old Abe's. My Huskies from Eau Claire North won in overtime last night against La Crosse Logan. Now, for the final time, because conference realignment coming next year, so it was the final time for Logan and North to play in the regular season last night, and it's the final meeting of La Crosse Central and Eau Claire Memorial in the regular season. Memorial, better than last year. And Central, I think, is probably going home with the L tonight. So, am I doing predictions? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't do that.
We should say that for later. We don't talk about betting.
No, we don't.
We don't bet on high school.
Do not. I won't tell you, and you should not do it. Wrightstown at Wapaka. Wapaka has had some struggles on the football field the last number of years. Got beat by Freedom. As a matter of fact, Freedom's quarterback last week set school records. I think 2 or 3 of them during that game for single game records. So they look for the Comets to play hopefully for Coach Bennett Hansen better this week against Wrightstown.
Yeah, Wrightstown, I don't know a lot about, but they, in the past, fantastic football program. Many state titles.
Okay. Mentioned Edgar at Stratford. Cadott at Pittsville. That's our wild card game tonight. Of the 10, plus football, so we actually have 11 games going on right now. Columbus Catholic playing soccer down in Waupun, if you care to take that in. Cadott at Pittsville. I've got question marks. Now, we did have Coach Jeremy Dewar on our coaches show last week, and he felt as confident as he can, just coming off of a scrimmage and heading into week one. Pittsville did beat Augusta last week, so they've got Cadott coming to town tonight. Steve Mayham's on the call, so at the very least, Steve will make it exciting.
So Steve usually follows the Assumption Royals.
Yeah, and Southwood County team, so Pittsville kind of fits into that. So Assumption at Pep and Alma tonight, and
2 state-ranked teams.
As it turns out, yeah. We'll take a check. Steve will pass along scores. One score that's already been passed along: Amherst at Two Rivers, and that was a 14-0 Trivers lead in the first quarter.
Trivers.
That's what they call it over there. So Cadott at Pittsville. It's our wild card game. Cadott can be good from time to time. Probably a better opponent than Augusta was for Pittsville. So our wild card game tonight. Mosney is at Clintonville, and a lot of people, I think, we talk about good, nicknames in the state. You got the Galloping Ghosts, and we used to have the Midgets. Now we've got the whatevers. You got the Comets.
Comets is good. Yeah.
Pretty good one. The Hurricanes, right up in Hurley. And some of the others, but one people often look past are the Clintonville Truckers.
The Truckers.
So Mosney at Clintonville. Mosney got beat up pretty good by Stratford last week.
Yeah, Mosney has something to prove this week. Coming in, they're probably the conference favorites, I would say, in the GNC. Didn't look like it last week. A chance to redeem themselves as they prepare for conference play next week.
Okay. I mentioned Neilsville Granton got beat by Colby last week. It was like 24-8 or something like that. So honestly, for the Warriors, that's respectable.
Yep.
The struggles they've had over the years. And now Neilsville Granton goes to Loyal, except they're playing the game in Greenwood. Field not ready in Loyal. Why does it seem like we keep getting told over these last couple of years football fields aren't playable? How does that happen?
They have 5 months to prepare for it.
You've got all spring and all summer. How is your field not? How do I keep hearing this?
The snow didn't just melt.
How do I keep hearing this? I don't understand. So they play the game at Greenwood tonight. That's a toss-up game, I think. So if you're looking for, these are Division 5 and 6 teams going at it over there. So you're not going to see a lot of polish and razzle and dazzle and kids going to play Division 1 collegiate football next year. I think that you're going to see a tight game on the scoreboard, though. So if that's your interest, Neilsville Granton at Loyal at Greenwood.
Is that the 10th game?
Nope. Pacelli Catholic is at Brookfield Academy, so down in Milwaukee area. Cale Jacoby on the call. That's number 10.
Okay. Also, 8-man football starts up this week.
Yeah.
Including the state's longest winning streak in jeopardy maybe tonight. We'll have to see. Newman has...
Tomorrow. They play tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be there. Chris Conley will be on the call tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yeah, Three Lakes Phelps. I think they combined for football.
Yeah.
Last I knew, anyway.
Three Lakes, pretty good.
So they're going to go to Newman tomorrow. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock. Chris Conley on the call. My recommendation there, obviously if you can't get there, you're miles away or whatever, you know, watch our broadcast. But head on down to Newman. How many times can you, on a Saturday? There's no college football tomorrow. So
There is.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well, none you want to watch anyway. There's no WIAC football tomorrow. Go over to Newman in Wausau. Tell them Zaleski sent you. They'll let you in for free, and then watch that game right there in person. Saturday afternoon. The weather's supposed to be like at kickoff like 72, partly cloudy. I mean, a really nice day to sit outside.
Yeah, state's longest winning streak, 30 games.
You think the Blue Jays might have something to say about that?
Newman lost a lot. Obviously a really good program, but they lost Connor Crock, lost some receivers, some running backs. They are a deep team, or they have been a deep team, but graduation can really hit some of these small schools pretty tough.
Connor, our Zaleski Sports male athlete of the year for the last school year.
Hey, he had a pretty good year last year.
So he wins a state title in football, a state title in basketball, and then top 3 finish at state golf.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Dan is in his front lawn instructing Connor from across the street.
He literally lives one street over. I can see his house from my yard.
Okay, well that's what's on tap tonight. Those are the games we're going to be keeping our eye on. Those I see a lot of people already watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, kickoff. Yeah, hi. Kickoffs are at 7 all across the board now. Amherst at Trivers, which we aren't covering tonight, did kick off at 6 for reasons I can't comprehend and reasons I haven't been given. But if you gave me one, I would tell you that's rubbish. Play at 7. I don't understand the 6. I don't know what that's all about. There's no school tomorrow. Doesn't make any sense. Whatever. And then again, my other question mark today is a football field not being ready. That doesn't make any sense either. But what's interesting, Dan, about that Loyal game being moved to Greenwood, I guess there's 2 things. So it's the Corn Fest over in Loyal, or they call theirs Corn Fest. Iowa has the Corn Roast coming up next month. Corn Fest.
Okay.
In Loyal. It's Wisconsin, right? We got things. And so why would you want to bring another 200 people into your town for your town festival? So you don't want that kind of action around there, right? That's too many people coming in to buy stuff around town and enjoy your city. So you don't want that to happen. So you ship the game off to Greenwood. And then the other thing about it is Loyal Greenwood combining next year.
Okay.
So maybe there were some underlying reasons to start to get people comfortable with driving from Loyal to Greenwood to watch the football game. Because you're going to have to do that 3 times next year. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, I don't know what the other reason could be. That I don't know. I don't know the other reason. So, but good luck, everybody playing football tonight. Good luck to you all putting up with us for the next 3-ish hours. There's another show, statewide show that kicks off at 10 tonight. The Wilson brothers.
So they recap everything that happened around the state.
Right.
I've listened to it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right. They'll get coaches to call in sometimes. So we promise we'll end this by 10, and then you can go go to the Wilson show at 10 and take that all in. I didn't see who won the contest for Travis's services tonight. Did you?
It was not Edgar Stratford. I know that.
Well, okay. I've said this before. That poll's a joke because come on. There is no other rivalry in Wisconsin besides Stratford and Edgar. I mean, that's the top one.
I think so.
That's the top one.
At least in our area, it is.
Come on.
Well, Hurley has won it before because Travis had to drive the 4 hours.
Yeah, that's right. It was the only time that year we didn't go to Hurley. You and I went other times that year.
Twice.
Yeah, but he ended up going a different time. Well, good. It was the furthest drive he ever had, and many quick trips along the way. Not a sponsor. So anyway, yeah, that show is at 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll end ours by then and have that. So we've got 3 games on the screen. Dan and I just take up a little bit down in the corner. That way you can. People always will sometimes say, not always. They'll sometimes say, "Well, turn the camera around so we can see you." All right. We're on the whole time.
Yeah.
We have the 2 Tigers, Marshfield and Richmond, and we got the Edgar Stratford game, of course, right above us, and then that way, Spash and Hudson. Now I will change those if things get out of hand on any of those games. I don't predict that we'll leave the Edgar Stratford game. That doesn't seem like that would happen tonight.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So my question for you
Okay.
is, out of the teams in the area, teams on the Zaleski Sports Network, if you will, who has the most to prove in week 2?
Mosinee.
Mosinee?
Yeah, Mosinee does. They didn't look very, very good, but now again, they played Stratford. Stratford's defending Division 6 state champs. Mosinee has been in that Division 3 slot for the last couple of years, but Stratford Division 6 comes in, and I mean they handled the entire game against at Mosinee in their home opener. So that's got to be a little bit disappointing. And then early on in that game, in the first half, I saw kids on the Mosinee side that it looked to me, body language, they were disinterested, and so that's a concern. That's a concern. So they'll go to Clintonville tonight, and I will learn things about that squad tonight based on the score, and then I'll go watch that game tomorrow. If it seems like I should. And if Mosney wins by 30, then I'll skip it. But that's my answer there.
Yeah, if Mosney loses, they go to 0-2. They're still in good shape. They do not play in a tough conference this year. The Great Northern, not a very good D3 conference.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what they are, probably a lot of teams are probably right in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you want to play well. You want to play well going because of seeding and getting ready for the conference schedule that's coming up. But that conference, we got Hayward and Lakeland and Tomahawk, or maybe not Tomahawk. They might be in there. I don't know. I don't remember.
They are. Yep.
Yeah, the conferences are different in basketball and football and all these other sports, but there's not a lot to be afraid of in that conference, I would say. Medford.
Yeah. Medford's going to pose some problems for people. So with that being said, Wausau East, who hadn't played football for the last 3 years, went to the Great Northern's Lakeland location.
Yep.
And won the game. And they haven't played in 3 years, Dan.
23-7.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, a little disappointing for T-Bird fans like this guy.
Well, we had Coach Tyler Kramer on our coaches show last week, and he was. I took it as youthful exuberance and maybe ignorance. He was really excited.
Yeah.
But there he goes. He goes and he wins. He wins game number 1.
And Wausau East has.
Today they have a Rhinelander which. So coming in, I thought that was the win. I mean, we're talking about a team that hadn't played in 3 years, right? So I looked at the schedule for Wausau East, and I thought, okay, that's the winnable game, is at Rhinelander. But then they beat Lakeland in week 1. So you beat, let's just say, and this is what one of the things we're keeping our eye on games that are not on our network tonight is, does Wausau East go dormant for 3 years and then start 2-0? It's possible, because Rhinelander they've had some struggles.
And in a Wisconsin Valley Conference that is not as strong as past years, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm noticing in warm-ups, because it's on our screen, Edgar Stratford. Stratford must have 55 to 60 kids out for football this year.
Probably
enormous team.
Most of the class. Yeah. Have you seen Edgar though yet?
I have seen Edgar.
I mean, in this view,
Yeah, they're on the right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so both large contingents then.
Yeah.
You would say.
So let's talk about this game a little bit.
Okay.
I know that you are a believer in Stratford, defending champions. Edgar beat them last year. They tied the year before, I think.
No, Edgar Stratford. I don't remember them tying. Do you? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it seems familiar to me, but I don't know if it really happened.
Well, Stratford Mosney tied last year to begin the year.
Yeah.
I'll do some research.
Okay. If we had computers here, we'd be able to see
I've got information. Go ahead.
Somebody knows the answer to it.
Yeah, if you do, comment, and I'll just read your comment right here.
Hopefully it's right. Hopefully it's like Stratford.
Well, I said I'll read the comments.
71-3 back in 2021. No, so Edgar beat Stratford last year.
9-6. It's my recollection. We were off on the side.
We were there. We were trying to direct traffic of fans trying to get on camera and stuff.
Yeah, true.
But Edgar returns a lot of the team. Almost everybody's back this year.
Yeah, and again, not a slight to the seniors, right? But anybody you would have wanted back are back.
Right. Stratford brings back a lot of guys also.
Yeah.
Stratford won state last year. Edgar, very good team last year. They ran into a buzzsaw against Regis, at Regis in level 3. I think it was level 3 last year. Both teams, a lot of kids back. Why is Stratford the favorite tonight?
Well, I think that since last year, from what I saw at practice and then what I saw against Mosney and just things that I just kind of know, to me, Stratford has those kids that are back this year have progressed at a faster rate. They are they have more progressed than the Edgar kids have.
Yep.
I think we're going to find out tonight. 14-0 last year. And then Stratford beat Edgar 9-8 the year before. And then we had the wacky 2020 year.
Yeah, there was a late field goal or something in that game, that Stratford game or something. I remember I think it was on Saturday too.
And they ended up not playing in 2020. So this is the 55th playing of the game. Sorry. Yeah, so if there was a tie, it'd be before that. I'm not interested in looking. Somebody else can look if they want. But I mean, 9-8. It seems like that's a game I would have been at in 21. No, you might have been there.
No, it was a Saturday morning or Saturday early.
That's what it was. So that game
was lightning or something.
It was lightning.
Friday.
And then they ended up playing at Everest the next day because the field was unplayable. Stratford, I mentioned teams without fields. Stratford was that team last year. They did not have a football field last year. And so they played all road games last year. The year before, their field got washed out in that storm. Reason being, then they went to redo their entire field and had to not play a home game last year. So yes, they went to Everest and finished, and then it lost, or it won 9-8.
Yeah.
In a Saturday afternoon game. You're right. You're right. You're
yeah,
right.
it's all coming back now. 2 years is a long time to remember something like that.
2 days.
True.
2 days. So let's see. We've got starting lineups happening in Stratford. We've got starting lineups happening in Wapaka. And let me turn on because the screen I produced the show from is actually smaller than what's on my phone. So let's have a look-see here.
I'm trying to find an Amherst score.
Marshfield, New Richmond underway. And so those are the games on our channel right now. So Marshfield, New Richmond underway, and the Tigers with a big play. They're both Tigers.
Love it.
That's a stupid joke. Underway is what I'll say there.
As somebody who oftentimes tries to find live feeds of these games, all of these fake sites drive me absolutely crazy.
You know, and the computers have got really smart over the last 4 years. Every now and then we'll see the exact same graphic that we have, and it'll somehow make it into that thing, and then you click it and they want $55 to watch the game, and some people actually pay it. Crazy, right?
Zaleski Sports, forever free.
Yeah, and so the best way, and obviously you're watching now, so you probably know, but the best way there is just to go to the website. You go to zaleskisports.com and you just launch the game from there, and then you don't ever have to worry about some goofy link. Or you go to YouTube and you just search Zaleski Sports on YouTube. So go to the source. Yeah. Now, right, for these other out of area games, they don't have it simply laid out like we do.
Yeah.
They're not professional. They don't have a broadcast company, so they're just winging it, and those are the ones that get spoofed most often.
Yeah, you see it on Twitter, you see it on Facebook, you see it everywhere.
All right, I only have one game underway.
Stratford's announcing their whole team.
Okay, yeah, they're doing the long introductions there in Stratford. And Wapaka, they're all staring at the flag in Wapaka. Number 7 ranked Wrightstown Tigers. Rankings on ZaleskiSports.com.
Yeah, comments might be in trouble tonight.
Yeah, might be.
Might be. So I have a good story about team announcements here.
Let's have it.
So my senior year, we are playing level 2. I was at Lakeland. We were playing Menominee. Menominee undefeated. We were undefeated. Back then, there wasn't seeding so much. I think they just took the 8 teams closest, no matter what the records were. It was the 90s,
Yeah.
right? And teams were announced. We announced our offense or defense, whatever it was. And Menominee, and they still do this. They don't do it. They just said, Menominee doesn't believe in individual achievement. Menominee, and the whole team just ran across the field. And we looked at each other and said, we're in trouble. And we lost by 40.
Sometimes you know. Sometimes you know.
Yeah. So sometimes you're at small rural schools and you play big schools, and it is not the same game. Not the same.
So whatever the big play was that I thought I saw over in New Richmond must have got called back. So
It looks like it's going to start on Wapaka.
doesn't it?
It really does.
I hope it doesn't. But you're right.
It might be a long night in Wapaka.
Huh? Was there rain in the forecast? I don't ever look at the weather.
It rained on the way down here, actually.
It did for you.
A little bit, yeah. From Wausau.
Well, so I do have a weather thing on my phone here. Let's take a look. Our resident weather expert is Steve Maves, and Steve didn't alert me to any weather. Yeah, but sure enough. So well, it's off in the distance though.
Okay.
So here's Wapaka. So everything's now. Let's see what direction it's headed. Oh, it just left there.
They should be okay.
They're fortunate they didn't get a lightning
Yeah.
delay to begin with the way that looks.
Well, Wapaka, or actually Wrightstown.
Yep.
No, it is Wapaka. What?
No, it's Wrightstown. Wrightstown. Yep.
W.
Yep.
Edgar gets the ball first.
Okay, so we're underway in Stratford, underway in New Richmond. We're looks like Wapaka is going to bring up the rear today. We're underway right over here at Gerke. And, Gerke too. So the press box there is something that I talk about a lot because it's, that's a collegiate facility over there.
It's pretty nice.
Oh, no, it is nice. It is. The windows, though, don't open. They don't move. You can't, the window doesn't even go up or down. It's just a window. And so, of course, that was built, 1930.
Yeah.
Right? So cameras weren't anything to even be thought of then. And so and I'll be able to see out the window here, but until the sun comes all the way down, the sun just pours into the window right into the face of the camera. And there's nothing you can do about it over there. But I'm not sure if there's nothing Spash can do about Hudson. So so there's that. And an injury in
That is not
Edgar.
good.
Yeah.
It's the running back. I don't know if it's Carter or who it is, but whoever got the first.
Yeah. Well, the camera has turned away.
Yeah, whoever got the first run.
Hopefully it's a cramp, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a cramp. I have the roster open here. Let's take a look. He's sitting on the ground. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything.
I think it's Carter.
You do, huh? Well, that would be. You couldn't get much worse than having something like that happen. No, it's actually not. It's actually not.
Is it?
Yeah, Butt is Carter. Butt is. Let's just see here. They've got them in order by number.
There's a rainbow out in Wapaka.
Carter is 21. They show the rainbow?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, well.
Carter's 21. It was number 23, Jace Apfelbeck, that was on the field. Listed here as a running back, though. So
Interesting.
It was a runner. 21 is Carter Butt. Yeah, that Edgar offense. So, again, big crowd out there watching. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into our initial, it's our week one Red Zone, but it's week two. I hold myself out for week one just to make sure everything gets up and running in week one, as Dan and I talked about right before we went on. Our staff puts a lot of pride into these games, football, and all games really, but football just carries an extra emphasis to it. And every now and then the staff sometimes will lose their mind. They've been broadcasting for months and months straight, and the football game comes and they're like, I don't know what to do. So I take week one off. Anyway, so welcome everybody. Red Zone Channel, sponsored by Security Health Plan. Promises kept, plain and simple. Edgar, though, on the move, near midfield. Well, I was going to say something. Oh, so yeah, Edgar.
Edgar offense.
Edgar, it's Carter Butt.
Yeah.
Carter, the running back, Butt, and that's it, right? So last week, just as an example, Carter had 175 yards. That's pretty good. But they end up falling to, and again, Edgar Division 7, they fall to Division 4, Ellsworth at home, 9-6.
Number 3 ranked in the state, Ellsworth.
Yeah.
Division 4.
So is there such a thing as a good loss? If there is, that's what it was. That's what Coach Sins probably thinks. He's never going to say that.
No.
But he'll think it, maybe. The kids might think it. Although they were upset.
Yeah.
They were upset because they had chances. They had chances in
Lots.
that game last week.
Yep.
Chances. Yeah, but we're able to pull it through.
And it's small school sports, right? You can take one of two paths. You can play a lot of other Division 7 local rural schools, and you can win by 40, as much as you want to win by 30,
Yeah.
40, 50. Or you can challenge yourself and play teams from all over the states, and you play state champion Stratford. You play number 3 Division 4 Ellsworth that almost went to state last year, and they might go this year. So kudos to Edgar, right? You learn a lot more in these games than you do by winning by 60 points.
Yeah, and there's a really good chance for Edgar that no matter who they play in non-conference, of course you're going to play Stratford, so that's one of the two right off the bat. They're going to play Regis in a level 4.
Maybe.
Or 3.
Regis did not look good last week.
Yeah, and they played up too to Prescott.
Yep,
I mean, that's a Division 3 team in Prescott. So to your point though, right? It does it really matter win or lose in week 1 if we play the division, team 3 divisions above us? Probably not. Quick note: my old Abe's up 7-0.
Edgar has to punt.
Oh, Dan, I don't know.
The graphic not up to date.
No, I can see the down marker though.
Yeah.
So Stratford just violated the neutral zone. You don't want to do that.
Now it's 4th and.
So it's 4th and 3 now.
Yeah. Now they probably go.
And you're across the 50,
Yep.
right? You're on the Stratford, the Stratford side of the field, and you can see right away the punt team left.
Yep.
The crucial and critical error, those mental errors, just grind at coaches, right? There's no reason on a punt that you're jumping into the neutral zone. There's no reason.
That makes no sense.
No reason. And that's what coach will say. Now, the reason is because the kid is 16 or 17.
Yeah.
That's the reason that it happened. Yeah, but 4th and 2, Edgar's going to keep the offense on the field. Central challenging the old Abe defense. Well, you got a guy that's got oak tree trunk legs, and you give it to him, and they did. And
that's 21 again.
That's 21. 23 was on the ground.
Was he?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. We obviously can't hear. Is it
That's
Tom
okay.
today?
Tom, no, Dan Leonard on the call
Dan
in Stratford.
Leonard,
Tom is with the Colby Hornets tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dan is our home Stratford home announcer.
Gotcha.
Right. So we let him keep his home assignment.
You have a really good crew, play-by-play crew. Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, just okay. I gotta change the channel there.
You really do.
Abe's are gonna give up a touchdown here. It looks like. Thank you. Well, and the interesting thing is, over the years, so many of these people, like you can tell the story, have come to us.
Yeah.
They've come to knock on the door and say, I'd like to come in. Do you have room for me?
Yeah, between Chris and Tom, big voices in Wausau that go back decades. And sorry to say it, radio kind of out of fashion. A lot of it has come to institutions like Zaleski Sports, and it is giving these really talented play-by-play guys the opportunity to expand and prolong the career a little bit. So if you get a chance to listen to Edgar or DCRs, you recognize the voice immediately.
And we were very happy that that situation happened like it did. Both of them called me, I think, on the same day. And we were ever just very happy to have them and continue to be happy to have them as part of this team. Nielsville Granton up 8-0 on Loyal, first quarter action in Greenwood. I went through that before, I'm not going to go through it again. But here's the other interesting part of that, Dan, is Greenwood has their home opener next week, 8-man football. They need all new lines next week. How do you get rid of those? Now, obviously it was paint, but the hash marks are different.
Yeah.
So you got to redo the whole thing. So you're going to have to give a really close trim to the grass to cut all the paint off and then repaint.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably.
I mean they're going to have to paint thicker sidelines, but there's a lot of 8-man football that gets played on big fields. It's fine.
Yeah, well, the All-Star game in particular, I talked to Jenny Manchin, who's the athletic director at Greenwood yesterday, about this very thing. That pass is thrown and it's incomplete. I could have made that play call. I know what you're looking at there.
Edgar's got 4th down, 4th and 4.
Again, but they're going to go for it again. And at the state Wisconsin Football Coaches Association 8-player All-Star game, which takes place the day before the 11 players go at it, they put ropes on the field. They don't tie them down or any fix them to the field. They just lay a rope on either side for the boundary on the sideline.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem quite fitting for an all-star game.
No. So what we've seen is Edgar has ran the ball every play that I've seen so far. I haven't seen every play of this first drive, but it's been a dozen plays probably.
Yep.
And we talked a little bit off the air, and like we don't like to talk about negative things, obviously, on or off the camera.
Right.
But Edgar is going to struggle, and they have struggled, 3rd and long, 4th and long, or there's a holding penalty, and you're behind the sticks. And Edgar is missing that explosiveness through the air, and it has been that way for a couple of years now. Hopefully Edgar is able to improve on that as we go through this, because it's really hard to win a state title running the ball 50 times.
Correct. You're likely not to win that level 3 game if you aren't able to complete 6 or 7 passes in a game. It's not likely, because the other team will be able to, and that puts your defense at a deficiency. And if the offense can't keep up with it, so another run.
Nice play call, another first down.
Planned quarterback run and 4th down for Edgar. They gained the first down. They're across the Stratford 30. New Richmond is on the move at home. They trail Marshfield 3-0. Marshfield that was New Richmond. So they're both Tigers.
They are both Tigers.
And they're both orange. And they're both orange, yeah. And I've seen Marshfield wear those orange tops before. So a nice grab by the New Richmond Tiger, going across the middle.
Nice legs in that official. Wearing shorts today. I like that.
You do.
I'm wearing shorts.
So,
I don't like it. I'm just saying.
I've got a friend who's a white hat out there today, and he will call me tonight on the way home, and I'll tell you the words out of his mouth will be the officials in that Marshfield and Richmond game F-, only because of the shorts.
Yeah.
Because it looks pretty bad, doesn't it?
It doesn't look professional.
No, it looks like a middle school game with just the dress code, just the dress code, and they all do. And this guy over here has got even pastier legs than the white hat. The line judge over there is looking like he hasn't seen the sun in a few years.
I mean, our legs are pretty tan, but we're outside. We're doing stuff
Right,
in shorts.
right. Why that guy hasn't stepped outside in years.
Let's throw a flag in that.
Yeah. Back judge thought it was clean.
Oh,
so clean it is.
Edgar fumbled it.
And that was a problem last week.
It was.
Problem last week. So the fumbles for Edgar persist in week number 2 as they are driving down the field. They took 7 minutes off the clock on the opening drive and then fumble it inside the Stratford 20.
I think it was Carter Butt.
It was a few last week, right? It wasn't just one. Yeah, and for Edgar to get where they want to go, they're going to have to complete 6 or 7 passes a game, and they can't turn the ball over.
And Stratford spreading it out a little bit.
Yep, and they did last week against Mosinee. And planned quarterback draw, get a couple of yards. Stratford's first possession here in week number 2. Again, all these games. Let's go through the games again. We got a larger, newer audience. So let's go through all the games again. I'm reading on ZaleskiSports.com, so no tricks here. You can do the same thing with your own phone or computer or tablet, whatever. Marshfield at New Richmond, Hudson at Stevens Point, Spencer Columbus at Colby, La Crosse Central at Eau Claire Memorial, Wrightstown at Wapaka, Edgar at Stratford, Cadott at Pittsfield, Mosinee at Clintonville, Neilsville Granton versus Loyal at Greenwood, Pacelli Catholic at Brookfield Academy. 10 football games for your pleasures tonight.
Stratford will have a 3rd and long behind the sticks, quarterback sack. New Richmond gets a field goal. Somehow it's a field goal kicking contest. High school football. It's pretty rare.
It is.
The kickers don't get a lot of love in high school.
I want to comment on that. Just got to finish this. So my Eau Claire North Huskies last night, the kicker was the hero. Extra point in overtime to win it, as the La Crosse Logan, after their touchdown in the overtime period, their PAT was blocked.
Ooh.
Yeah, so blocked. Our North comes right back down the field. They converted a number of 4th downs, and there is some controversy in that game, and I have yet to go back and watch because that game happened last night, and then Friday is just full of football for me. We believe that North in that overtime period, again, they converted a couple of 4th downs. We also believe they were given a 5th down.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they eventually scored a touchdown and then kicked the extra point to win it. It's what it looked like. Our play-by-play crew, and you mentioned some of the good ones. We had Bob Radovich, who's a celebrity in Eau Claire, has done play calling over there for years and years. Same situation as the Wausau guys, and so we're happy to have Bob. He and Ryan Sparger, former Wisconsin Badger. So you talk about the talent we're talking about. Right? We had a former Wisconsin Badger on the microphone with us in Eau Claire. Had indicated, boy, and they went and recalled the plays. It was a run. It was an incomplete pass. We should be on 4th down, yet the down box still says 3. And the scoreboard said 3, and nobody said anything about it. Either sideline. So, but it looked like a 5th down. And then converted it, and then they were goal to go, and then they scored their touchdown on third down.
Was that Missouri, Colorado, or something years ago?
Yep. Yeah. Boy, that was probably already 20 years ago, I bet. But yes, correct. It is. They were given a 5th down and then ended up winning the game.
Nice play by Marshfield. Edgar forced a punt. Nice return by Carter Butt, and they got 1st and 10 right where they were.
3 and out for Stratford after the fumble.
Yeah, 2 sacks.
Okay, so they're going to throw a pass here.
He's wide open. Flag is down.
So flag is down. The ball is fumbled into the end zone. Now I think he was down on the 1, Dan.
Yeah, they're calling him down, but they didn't stop the play. So illegal formation, maybe.
Well, or a neutral zone, right? It's either Edgar didn't have 7 on the line of scrimmage. Edgar's walking back, so that's obviously what it was. Didn't have 7 on the line of scrimmage.
Their receiver was open by 5 yards.
Heartbreaker. Yeah.
At least 5 yards.
Yeah. Well, maybe because they had 8 on the line of scrimmage and Stratford didn't have anybody to cover him. Because I won't get into all the X's and O's here, right? But on defense, the linebackers and the defensive backs, everybody has a key. You've got your one either area if you're gap, or you've got one if you're a man, or you've got your zone. You've got one area or one person that you are focused on before that play is run. And so you look on the line, and if you're the outside linebacker or the weak side linebacker on that side, you count the last guy in the line of scrimmage. Okay, that's my key. But then if there were 2 of them, that other guy then just runs free because nobody's counting him because he's not supposed to be in the pass pattern. So that's what happened there, probably. It's the shortest explanation I can give on linebacker keys and how a defense observes the offense.
Everything about this new Richmond Stadium looks exactly like Marshfield.
Oh yeah, doesn't it?
But the bleachers,
pretty close.
The away bleachers a little bit different.
But the field, the field color, so likely the same construction company, but the turf color is the same, and all that's the same.
Marshfield has great facilities.
I was there last night. Hortonville Polar Bears 4-0 winners at Marshfield boys soccer last night.
I thought that was a football score.
No, 4-0. That'd be a weird football score. Is that in Scorigami? 4-0?
It has to be Scorigami. Has to be.
It's still available?
It has to be.
For NFL? Yeah. I wonder if somebody would have. I wonder what it would take to do a Scorigami for Wisconsin high school football all time. For one, it would take weeks. But I mean, do the scores even exist? I don't know. It's a ridiculous question. I sit here and ask them.
Well, it's tough because it's impossible to get any sort of historical stats on anything with the WIAA. They're not kept.
Well, they point back to the school is what happens there.
And the schools aren't going to keep track of stuff like that.
Right.
I do read about Scorigami. Scorigami, of course, is a score that's never been done before. And with the NFL increasing point-wise, a lot of the rules encourage high-scoring games, and the fans like them probably more than low-scoring games. A 6-1 Scorigami. 6-1 is possible.
Yeah, and we looked that up, right? And so
it would be a safety on a 2-point conversion.
A safety on a 2-point conversion. So imagine that.
Oh, I imagine it. It's very rare.
Because the offensive team would need to somehow matriculate the ball 98 yards backwards and then be tackled in its own end zone 98 and a half yards in its rear for a safety to occur on a 2-point conversion. I don't even know how that could happen. You would have to intentionally do it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and the clock doesn't run. It's not like it's,
But that's worth 1 point.
It's worth 1 point.
It's worth 1 point. So I can't, it would, if it did happen, it would be the Pete Rose of NFL football that would have lined up somehow a prop bet that my team would have a safety on a 2-point conversion, and that would probably win like $1 billion, which would be enough to hire the legal team to get them out of any legal trouble.
Phil Mickelson now, he's a new gambler. A little screen pass, gonna work. That's a first down. Edgar's driving
Again.
To the 15. What if it was hurricane force winds with the offensive team going into the wind, and the snap went over his head, and it just kept blowing down the field?
So that's a Chicago Bears super fan from Saturday Night Live question, right? That's what I remember from those. Yeah, right. If a hurricane named Ditka comes to Chicago, then maybe the Eagles could score a 1-point safety.
Okay, how about New York Giants against Mini Bears? Mini Bears, 14-13 close game.
14-13 close game.
But is Ditka mini? No, Ditka's normal size.
No.
Okay, I changed my answer. Mini Bears 73, Giants 0. No,
That's how it went.
It was 73. Giants -4. How do they get negative? Ditka will find a way.
Ditka will find a way. The super fans.
Super fans.
Yep. Table full of sausage and beer. Which is my kind of dinner table.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It looked tasty. I think it was real too, because Farley was eating it.
Yeah.
Like Chris Farley was actually eating the food on the table.
Are any of those guys still alive?
Well, George Wendt is alive,
Okay.
so that's one. Could be it. I forget his name. He was a writer. He sat on the right side. He was one of the writers for the show. So I don't know if he's still alive or not. But Wendt is alive though.
Stratford ran 3 plays in the first quarter.
And first quarter 0-0. I think everybody thought that it would be a low-scoring game. They almost always are.
Yeah.
Nobody should ever try to determine the over/under in a high school football game.
Nope.
And a game like that is usually under 20, 22.
Yeah, I think that if there were odds makers, the over/under would probably be like 24.5 or something.
On the over/under?
Probably.
Yeah, something along those lines. They'd be thrown off today though because it's brand new grass. So how do you convert that into your, and were you ever an actuary?
No.
No. Did you know any actuaries? The building over on the other side of town or anything?
I knew some. They're weird people a little bit.
They are
Nothing
weird people.
against actuaries.
Well, but they are. You got to be weird to do that job. But those are the people that make those kind of numbers over in that city in Nevada, and they consider things like the grass. Like it's all part of the math. It's all part of the math. So I don't know how you consider brand new grass if you were an actuary. But they have a page in the book they turn to, and new grass. Okay. So I add this decimal point of numbers.
So I have a good Vegas story for you.
Okay.
Monday Night Football this past Monday, Baltimore, Washington.
A preseason game.
Preseason.
Okay. Just making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah. Baltimore won 28 straight preseason games.
Right.
Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy.
They lose by 1 because the Washington football team, kicker makes the game-winning field goal 49, 50 yards, whatever, at the gun more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas line, Washington -1.
On a preseason game.
On a preseason game.
And they cover at the gun. They cover at the gun. It's pretty silly.
Unreal.
Pretty silly.
Preseason football.
On a preseason game, right? So again, those actuaries are going through the roster and they're going through head coach tendencies in preseason games. So they're researching multiple years of preseason activity and what part of the depth chart comes on the field at certain times in this coach's history. Like all that is tabulated. All of it. And they got it down to What was the final score?
It was 1 point. I don't remember.
It was 1 point though.
Yeah, it was 28-27 or something.
Oh, okay, so it was a push. So the 1 point was a push. Okay, yeah, so they got it right in the head. That's silly. That's just silly in a preseason game. That's silly. And of course, it makes people think that it's all scripted and all that. And that's what that makes people think.
Edgar, 3rd and goal from the 3.
Okay, yeah, they pick up here action in the second quarter.
Oh,
Huge hole, and Edgar strikes first in Stratford. Huge hole.
I think you could have scored on that.
They call that walking the dog. He walked the dog into the end zone.
Yeah.
That means a leisurely stroll. And that's what Carter had, a leisurely stroll into the end zone.
Jason Zaleski could have scored on that play.
You know what I would have done too? Is I would have stepped a little to the left, just put a shoulder into somebody. Carter didn't hit anybody. I would have made a move just to bounce off of somebody in there. To tell coach, hey, I really had to work for it there, coach. Really had to work.
Yeah. Break a tackle, put that down in the stats.
That's right, broken tackle. Touchdown. All right, so Marshfield and Richmond is tied at 3. People can see that on the screen right over that way. Edgar right above us. I don't do good with the opposite. Like years ago on the green screen, if you were a weather person on TV, yeah, see, and here Edgar is really struggling to find a passing game because you get your 2-point conversion and you lost 6-7 yards on it.
Yeah.
That means on the 2-point conversion, especially for a defense, they say you pin your ears back and go. And so you do, and if you know they're for sure going to run, you're going to stop that 2-point conversion every time. So that's why level 3 becomes a danger later on in the season if they get that far.
And we see a lot of Edgar. We have been around him for years.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that the first touchdown by Edgar, always go for 2. That's Coach Sins.
Oh, yeah.
Always go for 2. They kick extra points the rest of the way.
Maybe later on.
Yeah, unless the math tells you otherwise. Although I don't even know if Coach Sins is looking at like a 2-point conversion chart.
Maybe not.
Gut feel.
Probably. He's looking at the wind, do one of those. And then, yeah, he'll do a little hand sonogram, see what he feels in there, see if it's kicking, and then off he goes. So 6-0 Edgar. All right, so that's good.
Yeah, Edgar lost 8-6 last week.
Yeah, not 9-6, right? Whatever.
8-6, yeah.
Lost by 2. So you think they would have kicked a field goal if they could have? I don't know. I don't know about their field goal situation in Edgar. I don't know. They had got down to like the 30, right? So that's a 47-yard field goal in high school. Even in college, that's probably too far. High school for sure, and at the Division 7, which is the smallest.
Like Marshfield kicker would probably try to kick it.
Yeah.
New Richmond has a good kicker.
Most likely. Any school dropped touchdown, New Richmond.
Yeah.
He was going to walk into the end zone. Yeah, any school that's got a soccer team, boys, honestly, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have a kicker on the football
Yeah.
team. And oftentimes, that's the same kid.
I think Carter might be kicking kickoffs. I don't know.
Okay. No soccer team, though, in Edgar. Not for the
Big
boys.
return?
Yeah, down to near midfield for Stratford, so they respond after the Edgar touchdown. Yeah, we see that often. And we've seen. I'm fairly intimate with Marshfield, and they for 6 years running now they've had their leading or one of their top goal scorers, also their place kicker for the football team. Pass overthrown. So New Richmond on 2 consecutive passes had easy touchdowns and missed.
Yeah.
Drop pass and then a pass out of the back of the end zone for,
That's right. They have a good kicker.
We're going to find out, right? It's 4th and 12, and they're on the 14, so they're going to have a 31-yard field goal coming up.
We'll call it 32.
Okay.
I bet you they go back 8 yards.
Well, he is. He's going to spot it on the second hash. So 32-yard field goal coming up for New Richmond.
From the right hash, that's not easy.
Yeah, but New Richmond has a soccer team, so they've got a better chance than most. I mean that. And it's a nice-looking kick.
That's good.
And it's right through. I mean, that had the arc. It was the fluidity of the extra point was there.
Yeah.
Good. So New Richmond 3-point lead at home against Marshfield.
They're up 2-1 in field goals.
They are 2-1. 2-1. Stratford second down. Quarterback run.
Oh, good.
Right on it.
Yeah.
He's gonna. They'll give him the first down there.
Yeah. Carter, but got to hit the quarterback that time.
Did you like that? You think?
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, you like that?
The kid is everywhere. He's a senior this year. He's obviously a big player on Edgar both ways. He's a linebacker and the halfback. He likes to hit people.
I think our scoreboard must be inaccurate on screen over at Gerke Park because it shows Spash leading Hudson 7-0 in the second quarter. I don't believe that.
Big play by the Tigers.
Yeah, there's Kilty. So, and we're going to talk a lot about this Stratford-Edgar game, obviously. It's the biggest game in the state today. F- with sports on that poll. Or the poll respondents. The poll respondents, F-. You're right. I said it right away. The poll respondents, you obviously don't know football. So we're going to talk a lot about that game during today's Red Zone show here. But Kilty on the Stratford side, but on the Edgar side, and those two are just premier running backs in Central Wisconsin. Both built pretty similar. Kilty's a little bit taller, but both big legged kids. Kilty breaking off a big one here.
Yeah, Edgar got caught a run blitz on the wrong side.
Kilty dragged a couple of guys down to the one. So Stratford in position to tie the game and perhaps extra point, should that come up, take a lead.
Yeah. Edgar blitzed on the near side to the camera, and the handoff was a counter the other way, and easy yards.
Okay. I guess I'll believe the scoreboard here. They are missing a couple components we usually have on there, so I am a little concerned that they may not be right. And if it is, though, Spash, we could just drive over to Gerke real quick, look at the scoreboard, and just drive back. It would take about 90 seconds in the car that I have. But it looks like 7-0. Stevens Point.
Went with the ball again?
Yeah, and with the ball into Hudson territory, down to about the 45 of the Raiders. So I'll keep it there for a while. When they point the camera, if Spash gets down inside the 15, I'll be able to see the scoreboard through the end zone. So we'll know then for sure.
Yeah.
It looks like good games everywhere. No, nothing has happened yet that has surprised me.
Let's see if I can get an assumption score.
Okay, sounds reasonable. Brookfield 20, Pacelli nothing. And I don't suppose that's that surprising to a lot of people.
Amherst is down 21-0.
Yeah. Let's turn that back down. Let's see, the other game, like I said, there were two others I'm going to look at here. Cadott Pittsville, that was our wild card game, mainly because I just don't know much about either team. Stratford scored, so we are tied at 6 into the second quarter. And I'm going to pass along a note up there. They've got first quarter on the scoreboard. 12-0 Pittsville at home over Cadott. At 21-0, it must be second half then, over in Trivers against Amherst. Must be. Game is hour and 36 minutes long, or old. I haven't seen Mosney Clintonville yet. Let's take a look. And
I have nothing on the Assumption game.
okay, and they're playing a long ways away, so I believe it.
Stratford makes the extra point. He barely got it over the crossbar.
Okay, so Tigers take the lead. Yeah, nobody will ever
Well,
care.
there's a flag. So
Of
I don't know
course.
what they're going to do now
Of course. Well,
on Stratford.
they'll kick it again. Colby up 24-0 on Spencer Columbus. That's I would say the pace that we figured. So just into the second quarter.
Got a cute dog right outside the window.
Right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right there. We've got water in the hallway for a dog too. Wrightstown 8, Wapaka nothing. So Comet's hanging with them. So if you're Coach Bennett Hansen, you're thinking, okay, we've improved. Based on that, Neilsville Granton 20, Loyal nothing.
So Stratford had a 5-yard penalty. I think the offense is on the field. Nope, they're kicking.
Yeah, it's 5 yards now, but he said he missed it by about a foot, or made it by about a foot.
It
so
was close.
now he's 5 yards back. We'll see what happens.
He's going to have to put more into it. Not a great snap. No, not even close.
So the 5 yards made a difference.
Made a difference. Yeah, he hit it left and it was short left. Division 7 or Division 6, I guess, football.
Yeah, right. I mean, again, the schools don't have a soccer program. Interception Spash, Hudson with the pick. And looking for running room are the Raiders, but he's not going to find out. Now, you saw what I did, though, right? If he would have, tough to see that in the field, though. But he had all kinds of room to the right side of the field.
Plus, he's fast, right?
Probably safety.
Secondary.
Yeah. Now I don't can see the scoreboard though, because now they're coming the other way.
Yeah, it's got to be right. I mean,
must be.
do you want to ask this woman out here? She'll look at the score for us.
Ma'am, we'll trade you $5 if you could drive past Gerke for us. Okay. They're fixing the scoreboard over in Clintonville, so I don't have a score there yet. Let's pass along a note over to Stratford and make sure they change theirs to second quarter.
Running business is hard.
Well, but we talked about this before, and right when we went on, right? I mean, football just brings this extra level of intensity, and it causes just some oversight every now and then from the folks that are right there in the thick of it. But even though the scoreboard says first quarter, it's second quarter, we get a great view of the backs of all the Stratford kids. So the camera work is really good.
Yeah.
There, we just need to change that scoreboard to the second quarter. We'll be off and running. Of course.
I don't know how much time's left in the second quarter at Gerke.
We don't. So, and then what happens is, Dan, during the week, we do give remedial training to those that need it.
Yeah.
During football. But the interesting part is it's generally the same scoreboard used for basketball.
Yeah.
Never an issue. Just football. Football, it's such an intense thing. How about this for just a talking point while we're kind of transitioning from first to second quarters and teams are not in the red zone here on this red zone channel, sponsored by Security Health Plan. Promises kept, plain and simple. Football is so well thought of in this country, American style football.
Number one sport by far.
In all levels. But high school too, right? High school all across the country. And I think about that in a certain way. And one rational or one reason I have when I think about it is you can easily identify your hometown football team. And here's what I mean by that. Most of the other sports, these kids are playing almost year-round. You don't know which team they play for. You got a school team, you got a travel team, you got an AAU team, you got a Wisconsin. You're on the Wisconsin Wild, and now you're on the Playmakers. Now you're on I don't know what you're talking about, kid, and I don't know where that game is. Oh, it's in Kansas. Okay, football is only played right here.
And it's only one team.
One team, and you know the kids. And if they say they're on the football team, you know exactly where the game's going to be played.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And that popularity of the game develops from a local standpoint, from your high school team. And there's no confusion about what team junior next door plays for. I don't know where to watch the Playmakers.
Edgar's going deep through the air.
And they caught it, Dan. There's a completed catch. I said they need 6 or 7 a game. There's number 1.
Yeah.
And that was a nice one.
I saw one last week, although I didn't watch much of the game. I saw one completion last week. Also saw some turnovers.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Wisconsin Ice, I think it's a volleyball team. Like I have no idea where they play, who's on the team, what months of the year it's being played. And so I've got a nephew that does some of that, and I've accidentally walked into a gym that had some of that going on.
That's a great tackle.
It was a really nice tackle. Hudson, tackle for loss. And so I walked into those facilities before, and there's hardly anybody there. It's the moms and dads, but that's it. There's no community support with those teams. But the entire town shows up for the football game. Entire town.
Yeah.
Especially at some of the smaller ones. Edgar is empty right now because everybody's in Stratford. Everything's in Stratford. If you needed a cup of sugar, you just walk into the neighbor's house and go get it because they aren't at home. They're not there.
It's so close too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the two communities are really close. No doubt about it.
So Edgar's driving the 32-yard line of Stratford.
They've had 3 really nice drives. They've got 1 touchdown.
Another nice play. Edgar really winning in the trenches against Stratford so far.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, and we're tied at 6. Yeah, I know they missed the extra point, but you think of Edgar Stratford along the years.
Yeah.
And you thought we had a tie game a couple of years ago, and that's just how closely contested that these games are. That they are just crazy close, crazy close. I called a Stratford Edgar. It was Edgar at Stratford, and it must have been in 2017.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you just throw it away, Tegan. Throw it away. I don't cheer when he didn't. I don't cheer for anybody, by the way. I'm just cheering for the common sense of the game.
I am cheering for just the confidence for a kid.
Yes, correct. It was Carter's older brother, Carson, was a quarterback at the time. And it was that year they lost to Blackhawk at State. So whatever year that was, folks.
Kind of an upset loss, too.
Oh, I would say. Yeah, and then 2 games later, Lake Country Lutheran upset Stratford that same year. So anyway, I'm calling the game, and it's at Stratford. Edgar is down by 3. Seems like. He's just dragging people. Carter, but
literally dragging people downfield.
They're down by 3, and they got the ball around the 10-yard line. They did have a place kicker that year. Edgar did, and late game, so there's like 15, 20 seconds left. Kicking team comes on the field for Edgar to tie it. Stratford calls a timeout. During the timeout, Edgar changes their mind. They put the offense back on the field with 12 seconds left. They figure, well, we can just throw one pass to the end zone, and then if we don't get it, we'll bring the kicker back out. And of course, they throw a touchdown, they win the game. 10 seconds left. That is Edgar Stratford. That's the way they roll over there.
Yeah.
It's the way they roll.
Coach feels like an idiot because he called the timeout, but it's the right play. I mean, you want to ice them.
Yeah, ice them, make sure.
And if they do go for it, maybe they make a mistake.
And, Stratford and schools of that ilk don't see a whole lot of field goals. So let's call a timeout and make sure we know where we're supposed to be. Like, how do we line up against a field goal? I mean, honestly, right? Yeah. You don't see it. And so now let's make sure we know what to do. So we don't, jump it or, we get a roughing the kicker or something stupid. Edgar scores.
And Carter's back in the end zone.
2 touchdowns today for Carter Butt. About 18 broken tackles in the first half. Really? I mean,
probably
all right, 8 or 9.
He had 5 the last 2 plays.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Is he going to school next year yet?
I haven't been told.
Yeah.
I haven't been told.
Someone's going to take.
Be a great WIAC running back.
Yeah.
And he's probably not the starter. See, I just think of UW Stevens Point, right? But your goal to go, you're putting Carter in that game.
Or Northern Michigan Tech, or whatever the D2 is up there that Grant Warren just committed to.
I was just going to bring up the Garantula for you. 2-point conversion's good. So 14-6, Edgar takes a commanding lead in the first half. Well, you think of how these games go, they 8-point lead.
Man, the over-under is looking over.
We're at 20.
You said
we're at 20. There is no such thing, by the way.
There is no such thing. Yeah. You will not find it in a Vegas book.
Or in any book.
No.
Not in your textbook or your dictionary or your instruction manual in your car. Well, they don't put those in the cars anymore.
Spash is looking really good.
If the score's right. The other way I'll know too is if somebody scores, that score will change. I'll be able to confirm that as well. It's probably right. Honestly, it's probably right. I don't really have any reason to doubt they would have the score on their run. Just without the clock and the down and distance, it makes me a little nervous though.
We went out to Hudson last year for the level 1 game, and Everest almost beat them.
They had a lead into the third quarter, didn't they? Oh my gosh, a fumble on the
I don't mean to laugh, but
so Spash, if you're not watching, you're relying on us to tell you some things. Spash had a 2nd and 2 from the Hudson 16
or something.
And shotgun. So shotgun's really popular everywhere. Remind me of shotgun when I'm done recapping this. So anyway, you're Spash, you get ready to score. You're going up against a much better team in Hudson. You got to score when you're inside the 20 for sure. And snap comes back, and the quarterback dropped it and fumbled.
Now he didn't even see it.
Now we're 3rd and long.
The ball was going past him, and he looked down at the ball going past him.
Now we're 3rd and long. So Eau Claire North won in overtime last night, as I said. Lacrosse Logan scored in the first, in the top half of the inning. They play innings overtime. Baseball analogy. Screen pass going nowhere for Spash, so maybe a...
Do you think they kick from here? That's 45 yards.
No. Oh, I don't know. They have a soccer team, though, so maybe...
They do.
Anyway, so Logan misses the extra point on their touchdown. North scores a touchdown, and there was some controversy, but scores a touchdown. They kick the extra point, and then they walk it off, and they win. 10 seconds left in regulation, Dan, or 12. North is down to about the 10-yard line. They had just completed a pass, so clock is running at 10, and it was a first down. Okay, so clock stops, 10.
Yep.
The clock stops at about 5 is what it was. So they rush up to the line, umpire spots the ball, right? Clock starts, it winds. They are lined up in shotgun to spike the ball. You snap the
You
ball.
can't, can you?
Well, in high school you can, and anywhere else you can, but in high school you can. But the problem is that clock wound at 5. So it's running and it's snapped at 4, 3, and it takes those seconds for that shotgun snap to get back there.
Right.
And then to catch the ball, cock, spike it, time runs out. They would have had a field goal at the end if he just gets under center. You know, and again, I don't know what was happening there.
Yeah.
Did the wrong play get called in? Did the kid read the wrong card on his wrist or whatever? I don't know. Who knows, right? North ends up winning anyway. But it's one of those things that I was just reminded of watching shotguns. Shotgun in high school football, you got to be really good at it, or it's going to go poorly for you.
Yeah.
That's my observation. Because it's all the mechanics that snap is just much more difficult in a shotgun. All kinds of things go wrong when you put the ball in the air.
3rd and 7 for Stratford. Feel like you don't want to give Edgar the ball one more time this half.
Okay, 5 minutes left in Stratford. Play action pass for the Tigers. One was open under pressure though, and pass incomplete. So 4th down upcoming. Stratford's going to have to punt. So they are on their own 25-yard line.
Edgar looks like the better team in the first half, right? It's a long game, but Edgar looks pretty good today. Better than they did last week, I would say.
So we are at halftime in Spash. We believe it's 7-0 Spash Panthers. You got a score center you can look at for that one? I bet that's up there somewhere. Let's just make sure. Let's just make sure. I'm gonna message our guy out there though. See what he knows too. Let's see here. Where were we here? What is score? And then we're going to put tech support over there too. Please call Jack R at halftime about scoreboard. And my thing, what took scoreboard as airboat. What's an airboat? Swiper. How does that make any sense? All right, let's see here. Dave's watching from Milwaukee. I haven't checked all the channels that we're on. I'm going to check for some comments. If we're leaving something out, gang, please let us know. I'm going to change our game down here, Dan, to let's see maybe Mosney's got their score updated here. So Mosney 21, Clintonville 12. Okay. It doesn't erase my concerns for Mosney. It's an early take too.
Yeah.
Right, it's an early take for me to be concerned about Mosney. But they're up by 9. 8 minutes still to play in the second half, or in the second quarter. So lots of football left over there. Lots of football left over there. Let's check. We've got this show running in 4 different places today, Dan. So it's a lot to keep track of. We'll take a look.
Having a hard time finding a lot of the stuff on X today.
X. Yeah.
X.
All right. Well, yeah, nobody has commented, so I guess we're doing a good job today, Dan. We'll take that as a positive.
Or nobody's watching.
Oh, they're watching. I can see the numbers. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Yes.
Yeah, if there's something you want us to talk about, feel free, chime in the comments, like and subscribe.
Yeah, we know some things, and so if you're looking for answers, I remember back, Dan, during the basketball coaches show. Did you do the girls show with me or just the boys basketball show?
I did the boys.
So it was during the boys, whatever one you did. So during the boys. So we got another pass and another completion. That's the 3rd one. I said they needed 6 or 7. They're halfway there.
Crazy.
They must have spent a lot of practice time passing after last week, But, well, honestly, I mean, it was an area of concern. The passing game was poor last week for Edgar. During the basketball coaching show, there were people messaging, and we were able to help them learn some things. That was mainly to do with the computer scoring and the seeds.
Yep.
But so whatever it is, if you've got questions,
Which we were right on
completely
for the most part.
Yeah. Did I tell you about Wausau West football?
No.
Did I tell you? So we had the coaching show last week, and coach came on, and we were partway through it. We were talking. Maybe we were wrapping up last year. Their postseason loss. I think they lost at Bayport last year. And anyway, he said, I was really mad at you guys because you showed our seed. So he was obviously a VIP last year because only VIPs get to see the seeds ahead of time. $5 a month at ZaleskiSports.com. So he said we were so mad because we thought no way are we a 2 seed. You got it wrong. And then he said, and then the seeds came out and we were 2. And so he congratulated us, and you've had a lot to do with that, with the seeding formula and figuring all that out. And so it's nice to get that feedback sometimes. And Coach was gracious enough to tell us about his experience being a VIP, and that yes, we are nearly. It's like 99.2 on our accuracy, and that's across like a lot, like multiple sports.
And we'd be able to do the whole state this year.
We will do the whole state this year.
How about football?
We did. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah. The computer's right behind this wall. It's now the Zaleski Sports supercomputer, and it's right back behind that wall. Mostly looking for the end zone here, and they're going to go up 27-12. Nice run there. I think that was Jersley with the touchdown run for the Mosney Indians. So anyway, yeah, we've got the math all locked down back there on the computer, and so 2 Wednesdays from now, we will have our first statewide our first statewide high school football rankings. Now we have the rankings now. Mike Wendland does those from his knowledge and a little bit of math. Yeah. But we will flip the switch on the computer 2 Wednesdays from now, and it will be the rankings.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense early on. There's just not enough math.
We need 3 games in, and even that's going to be a little squirrely the first time because it's only 3 games, but it's a third of the season.
And margin of victory is not included.
It is not.
In it, so.
It is not.
But I do have some scores for you. They make it interesting. Greenwood playing McDonald.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, season opener for 8-player football. Okay.
Greenwood's down 46 at half.
Yeah. Okay.
Thorpe
Cardinals.
8-man football. They are playoff eligible this year.
They will be.
First quarter, 40-8.
Nice.
Lead over Prairie Farm.
Yes, and they are playoff eligible because there's an actual rule that governs the whole thing. And Owen Withy attempted to pull the wool over everybody's eyes last year, and shame on them.
Wausau East Rhinelander.
I'm in on the Jacks. Tell me some good news.
Hodag's up 14-2.
What? 2.
Wausau East a wild card. They
Is that a letdown? Is that a letdown for East after beating Lakeland last week?
Lakeland might not be very good. It's early in the season. You don't know.
Because again, you may have missed this early in the show. Wausau East had no football for 3 years. They played a couple 8-player games, but it wasn't a full schedule by far. And they won the first game since not playing for 3 years. Now they're down on the road to Rhinelander. They played the first 3. Well, their first 4 games are on the road, but the 4th one is at Tom Field. So they're the road team, so they sit on the other side of the field. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. What else?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, well, thanks. It was something. It was something more than what we knew.
I think I have an assumption score.
All right. Well, let her
I
rip.
don't know if this is right though.
Well,
this is on Score Stream. Halftime.
Let her rip.
54-14. Doesn't sound
Alma
like a
Pepin?
halftime. Yeah. Doesn't sound like a halftime score to me.
People were pretty high on Alma Pepin.
54-14. Like,
what if I told you Paul Jaglinski was calling you right now?
Answer it.
Okay, let's see what he has to say. Jags, you're on live TV right now.
Hey, good afternoon or good evening to all the audience out there. Just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that Auburndale football is pretty decent as they hammered Bigfoot tonight.
Okay, what's the final there?
It was 49-0, I believe.
Over who?
Fourth quarter, Auburndale looked really good. The Merriwood appears to be talented. So I'm watching Stratford Edgar on the Zaleski Sports Network. But you're ready for Auburndale, even though they graduated a bunch, looks really solid.
And who did they beat?
They beat Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Okay, got it. All right. So Auburndale over Bigfoot in a running clock situation, second half. All right.
It was 28-0 at the half, and Auburndale scored right away in the third quarter, and they looked really good. Like I said, they can throw the ball a little bit. They've actually got good size. Bigfoot is going to win a few games this year. That's a nice win for them.
All right. Thank you, Jax. Thanks for calling in. That's our on-the-field expert there, our field reporter, Paul Jaglinski.
He's
probably still talking, by the way.
He's probably Look at the sky cannon in Clintonville.
We're showing some weather in Clintonville.
Yeah. Edgar did get into the end zone just before halftime. Missed the 2-point conversion. They hit the over in the first half.
So, yeah, they're sending the teams off the field in Clintonville. So that game has come to a screeching halt with 6:39 left in the first half. And reminiscent of last year, Mosney played Stratford in week 1 to a 20-20 tie because of lightning. They now send the teams to the locker room, Mosney at Clintonville, with Mosney leading 28-12, 6:39 to play in the second half. So that game will resume. We looked at the radar. It didn't look like stuff was going to last long, but that'll be a late night for the Mosney Indians coming back home from Clintonville.
Unless it's popping up all over the place, but who knows?
I'm looking again here. Let's see.
I wonder if Jags has a assumption scare.
You can call him back if you want. I can only allow Paul Jaglinski so much microphone time during the calendar year. And if he's going to use some now, that means it'll be available less later, and he doesn't keep track of it very well. And so then he gets upset when I take the microphone away from him sometimes.
So Coach Palt and Coach Jaglinski from Assumption basketball.
Yep.
They have officiated 2 games, and their games are combined 11-0. So they get only the good games. 56-14 at last check, the Assumption game.
So that was accurate at the half. At the half, because that started at 7.
That is
7 o'clock kick.
not a lot of defense in that game.
Well, yeah, and people were really high on Alma Pepin this year. Alma Pepin came to Wisconsin Rapids last year and won convincingly against what I felt was a better Assumption team last year than this year.
Yeah.
Now, perhaps Alma Pepin is better this year than last year as well, and that's part of it. Yeah, it's a very small, again, I don't do weather, but it's a small situation.
Pouring here. That is, you can see in the
You
lights.
can see it? Oh, yeah, sure enough. Clintonville Truckers, but it's not going to last long. But they're down and out for at least 30 minutes, so it'll be at least until 8:25. We'll be without football in Clintonville. So with that, I'm going to change our channel down here.
Yeah, 3rd and long. I wonder if Edgar takes timeout. Stratford took a timeout.
They did, huh?
3rd and long, under a minute left. Edgar is 1 play away from maybe getting the ball back for.
My A's are failing me, Dan. La Crosse Central 21, Eau Claire Memorial 7. I'm going to take the shirt off if it doesn't change.
You were very confident about this game.
Well, mainly because I wore the shirt. I wore the shirt. And yes, okay, so people ask this all the time, right? Why'd you wear that shirt? They gave it to me. So if you got a shirt you want me to wear, give it to me.
We will wear your shirt. We will eat pizza. If you send us pizza, we will eat it tonight.
You think we should order some food?
We could.
Yeah, we'll do that at halftime. Whatever that is.
Which game?
I don't know. I don't know how it all works.
If you want to come visit us, come downtown.
Yeah, one idea would be we can put folks on camera if they want to bring us a pizza. We'll let you come in here and ask us a question sitting right here.
Yeah.
I'll even give up my seat.
I'll give up my seat. I'll be eating.
Yeah, it's one of the what do they call it in movie, like the fourth wall, like you can't expose the fourth wall, which is talking to the camera or looking at the camera. It's supposed to be the same thing about eating, but we're going to break that rule today. We're going to eat right here.
Stratford is just short, so 4th down. They're letting the clock run. Timeout. Edgar.
So Edgar's going to make him punt.
Or go for it.
You got to punt, right?
I would
from your own 29.
I would think.
Yeah. So 40 seconds. They've updated the time there. 3 minutes left over at Carson Park in Eau Claire. It's a really nice football field there. You and I were there last year.
It's nice.
For the annual North Memorial game.
It stormed. We were there until midnight.
We didn't kick it off until 9:15 that day.
Yeah.
And we had a pregame interview with a representative from Security Healthline, which
We did.
we timed it up all really nice. And right after he left, the lightning came, and we were stalled for 2 hours.
We
Stalled for
did
2
not
hours.
leave until midnight. I think I got home at 2 o'clock.
Oh yeah, yeah. In the other news, though, by the time we were near the end of the first quarter, we were the only game left in the state.
The whole
Everybody
state
was
was
watching.
watching.
Everybody was watching, and it was a good game. For the most part, it's a pretty good game. Memorial ended up winning last year, and that they'll have that game coming up in a couple weeks.
Jeffrey is punting. It's a bad snap. It's over his head. Oh, they didn't even jump on it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the punter let it lay there. Edgar's got the ball on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, you gotta kick it out of the end zone.
Punter just let it lay there.
Oh, disaster for the Tigers.
Well,
that's why you take the time.
what was the other thing I said, Dan, before we went on? In this game, it's wackiness.
Yeah.
That's why they call it the game. It's wackiness.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the punter knew enough. The punter did not want to jump on the ball either.
He didn't even reach for it. It
Yeah.
was that was a miscalculation there for sure. All right.
At the next
Wow.
level, the punter punts that out back in the end zone.
Correct. Punts it, throws it, something. Just get it out of here.
It keeps it a 2-possession game still.
Yeah. Yeah, you just don't know enough yet when you're 16 or 17. You just don't know enough. Pick six?
I think it was a run play.
Memorial, my Abes are in the end zone.
That was a 70-yard play, I think.
Edgar does not get in, so they're going to go to second down. No, or they did. Edgar scores. Wowzer, huh, Dan?
Yeah.
Just wow.
That's going to be really tough for Stratford down 20.
Any team against Edgar down 20.
Yeah.
And you wait 2 years to open up your home field. There's a lot of thought about that. It's a tough one. Pass play. Oh no. Wildness.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
2-point conversion.
Right. In high school, once the ball hits the ground, you can't do anything but score 2 points in high school. Either you score 2 or nobody scores.
Yeah, on the previous, it was probably 2-point conversions ago now. Carter Butt got the ball, went off left tackle, stood up, and you could see Teagan straight calling for the ball. A lateral.
Yeah,
right?
right.
And the same sort of thing happened, and he actually pitched it back out because you can throw it
But
if somebody's open.
You could. But other than that, what exactly was Teagan going to do with it at that point? But, you see your buddy laying there, and you're like, hey, throw it here.
Yeah. So 26-6, just before halftime.
Yeah, that is a score that nobody was thinking that. Not even Edgar, not in the wildest dreams.
Edgar's playing well tonight. Edgar has had the ball 3 times more than Stratford. Like, if I had to estimate it, I bet you Edgar's had the ball, 30 minutes? I bet you they've had the ball 22, 23 minutes of the first
Yeah,
half.
long drives, right? The first drive failed, but it was a 7-minute drive to begin the game that failed inside the 20. And so the time of possession started then, and it's been going the whole time. And Stratford's I haven't watched the whole thing, but have had 2 3-and-outs, maybe, probably more, but I've seen 2 just by casually watching the game.
And a really bad turnover.
Yeah, right? All you need to do is just punt it, get to halftime. Tough one. So, momentum's a real thing in sports, especially in football. And Edgar's got all of it.
Well, maybe Stratford can do something here. They do get the ball after halftime. They need 3 scores. Definitely not over yet. For those that have not been at the Zaleski Sports location, this is a great place.
Downtown here in Stevens Point is very active. It's one of the reasons that we chose Stevens Point. We could have put our headquarters anywhere. One thing about it is there were 2 other municipalities that we were considering, but Stevens Point was very welcome and made it really easy for us to choose this.
Very central.
Yeah, and that was a deciding factor. We've got a number of interns from UW Stevens Point, and then the 2 high schools here in town. It all just kind of came together. Other people live nearby, and so it was just a good decision anyway. I am like really fighting this app here to get the pizza going. I thought it would be easier than this. We do have Polito's right down the street. Now, Polito's quits on us after baseball season, so no matter where I'm going to go for pizza, it's not a sponsor. Polito's comes in for baseball only.
I
don't know that. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either, but we're happy for their business during the spring. And we buy their pizza during the spring.
Yeah.
We do. It's just right down the street.
Yeah, it is, like 2 blocks down or so.
Yep.
We are right across from the old, is it Shopko? Yeah, Shopko.
Yeah, Shopko, it was just right over there. You probably parked over there.
I did.
Yeah, but downtown's very busy. A lot of restaurants and some adult beverage locations. The university, it's not that far away. The kids that are of age, they walk down here and they party all night here on a Friday night. Especially now because a lot of them just been moving in. So if you moved in today, you were hucking those boxes around all over the place. Now you're thirsty, so you come down the main street.
Yeah. Edgar in the extreme prevent defense. They're rushing 5 and they're dropping everybody else.
I'm confused as to why Stratford's running an offense here, but I guess you're down 20 and you want to figure something out.
Good job batting it down.
It's like we're going to head for the half. It's Edgar 26, Stratford 6, the 55th playing of the game. Although Edgar's pointing at the scoreboard for some reason. Looks like maybe they wanted another. I think Edgar maybe wants another play so they can maybe get a turnover. I don't know. But they're maybe going to make Stratford run one more play. Maybe.
La Crosse Central took the opening or the kickoff to midfield, and they are driving again.
After my apes do something really good, then we've got that going on.
Let's see if we can find some other scores.
Let's do it. I'm going to turn it back to that Smash game really soon, too. See if that's been updated.
It sounds like a good result for Auburndale. The Eagles now, right?
The Auburndale Eagles over Bigfoot. It's not a school we see a whole lot around this area. Bigfoot. It's a school in the southern third of the state. Ish. Let's see if this is going to work here, Dan. I hit submit order. Let's see if it happens.
We have Edgar highlights from Ellsworth.
Well, this is Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
So Edgar Football Hard Knocks is halftime entertainment across the system, and you can watch Edgar Football Hard Knocks on this Facebook channel, this YouTube channel, and if you're watching on Twitter, you go to Facebook or YouTube and you watch Edgar Football Hard Knocks. Trevor does the Hard Knocks this year with Edgar. He attended the team meal today. He rode the team bus from Edgar to Stratford. He's going to ride the bus back home, and at this point, that's going to be one hell of a bus ride. Even though it's only going to take 20 minutes, those Edgar kids are going to whoop it up on the way back home. At this point, 20 points and a half. And so anyway, every Monday you get to watch Edgar Hard Knocks. We go to the locker room, we go to practice, we do everything with the team. You really get to learn about these kids, who they are, their personalities, and then all the hard work they put in during the course of the football season.
Yeah, and watching these games, not just on Friday nights, but basketball season, volleyball, soccer, throughout the entire week, sometimes you forget that they are student athletes. They are kids, right? And they go to school and they have homework and they have boyfriend, girlfriend troubles and like the real things that we all remember growing up that looking back on, you look at it fondly.
Yeah.
But at the time, like it's tough. It's really tough to be a student athlete. And
at that age, right? At that age.
Yeah, and Hard Knocks kind of puts you in that. You get to see the kids, and you get to learn, especially for Trevor, right? The heir to the Zaleski sports empire.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to learn all about the kids. Obviously, the kids love it because the cameras are always everywhere. Yeah, really good. You guys do a good job with the Hard Knocks stuff.
Thank you. Well, we have a good time with it. The schools like it, and we've done this with a few teams now. I think this is year 4 with the Hard Knocks, and there's only been one school so far that's been offered that didn't want it, and since then, schools have contacted us to ask in, and then we go about the business then of choosing one instead of the other, and that's a tough thing too, because it's a fun thing to be a part of. Hudson driving here early second half.
Some amount of time left in the third quarter.
So, yep, they are in the third period.
Running clock and Alma Pepin 61-22 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it'll be a running clock to open the second half over in Colby as well. Colby with a 40-point lead over Spencer Columbus.
Running clock is 35?
36 points.
36?
Yep.
Okay.
Again, we are in a lightning delay for at least the next 10 minutes, Mosney at Clintonville. So we await the restart of that one.
We have an injured player for Hudson.
Yeah, and I thought it was the guy who received the pass. He got up a little weird and it looked like he just went right back down. Pittsville's going to have a second half lead. Let me forward ahead here a little bit.
Athens up 36-0 against Cornell.
8-player football.
Yep. Gilman 54-0. Gilman also 8-man, right?
Yep.
Good 8-man team.
Sure are, Gilman Pirates.
Thorpe still up 40-8. I don't know if that's updated.
Pittsville 20, Cadott 8 at halftime. So those are a wild card game because I just don't know enough about either team to tell you much about them other than Pittsville's coach is Jeremy Dewar.
Halftime in Rhinelander 20-2.
Yeah, just a step back for the East Lumberjacks tonight. After a fun, I mean, I would just call it fun, right? Because they hadn't played in 3 years. A fun win against your T-Birds last week. But a step back in the first half, a step back for the Lumberjacks here tonight.
Yeah, and when you talk about not playing football, they couldn't get an 8-man team together last year or the year before. Wausau East playing Rhinelander and Lakeland before they go against Valley Schools. I believe they are in the Great Northern next year.
Wausau East is, that's correct.
Yes. So probably a better fit, I would say, athletically. And
and enrollment-wise. But then more changes ahead, though, for the Wausau East kids at some point, right? Now, my understanding is you're more connected, or at least in the earshot of these conversations, that we don't quite yet know when those high schools will combine, just that it's been agreed to, but the timeline is being debated now. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, it really feels like it's 3 to 4 years out.
So it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Okay. My last I heard is they wanted to go in phases, right? Maybe first an elementary combination and then a middle school combination, maybe phase.
And that's already started.
That has, okay.
Yep, some of the elementaries are closing down.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, anyway, some more changes upcoming for the Lumberjacks, but 24-year-old Tyler Kramer at Spider-Man's coming to visit us. But 24-year-old Tyler Kramer, impressive. You know, first-year coach, come out and win your first game ever.
I thought you were talking about a kid. I'm like, I don't think you should be playing high school football. 24-year-old.
We've had it a couple times, college football, over the last 20 years. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 times. The last I know of it, my dad is connected to Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. About 7 or 8 years ago, they had a 32-year-old that he just enrolled in the university.
Yeah.
And he joined the football team. He was, that was national news. Maction. They had Maction with that guy on the team. So, which is fun. If you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, football's back tomorrow. Football on TV is back with college football.
Is there any Maction tomorrow?
I know, it doesn't really get going until halfway through the year because you can find MAC football any day of the week.
Right.
Besides Sunday for NFL.
Unless you're going to watch like an SEC replay, because sometimes they'll have the classics on the SEC network or something like that.
But Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, you get Ball State against Central Michigan.
Heck yeah, the Chippewas and the Cardinals.
Toledo playing the Bobcats of Ohio.
The Rockets and the Bobcats. We know them well. So Hudson has just tied this game. We're tied at 7. So I'm happy to report that our score is correct on the screen. The rest is TBD. We are scored. Yeah, that was last week, right?
Yeah, that was the play where Edgar was about to maybe tie the game before halftime and quarterback fumbled. That's what I was pointing to.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. I got it. So yeah, half times are upon us,
It's
and some are in the second half now.
yeah, it's kind of sad. Not a whole lot going on.
Goes fast, doesn't it? Football Friday.
It
Goes pretty
does.
fast.
The football season goes fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. We had 80-degree kickoffs last night, 70s probably tonight, maybe 80 somewhere in the state. And it won't be long. We'll have hats and mittens and 30, 20 degrees.
Well, I won't be.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be in here.
There were a couple of pretty chilly games last year.
Doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I remember it's really nice until week 4 or 5, then it gets really cold quick. So we are 3 weeks from that.
Yep.
I don't.
Yeah.
I dislike winter so much.
You've got for me, when I realize it's starting to get cold is when the deer hunting, the bow season opens, which is in about 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that. And then you know things are going to start happening. Leaves and cold and things I don't like that much begin to happen. All right. So anyway, so we're tied. Hudson and Smash is tied. That Marshfield New Richmond game is tight. They are in the second half. Let's give you some commentary on that game if you're not able to watch, or you just rather hear us. I clicked on the wrong tiger though.
There you go.
Some people would rather just hear us talk about the game, which is why we have this channel. So
New Richmond added a field goal.
9-3, so it's 3 field goals to 1. 3 to 1.
Do you remember back in the late 80s, we would have AFC West football on for the late game?
Yeah.
And I think it was on NBC back in the day.
Well, back then,
Yeah, I think AFC was on NBC.
it was NBC. It was. Mhm.
And
Yeah, Dan Fouts, NBC.
yeah, and those AFC West games, like the Broncos Raiders, it was just field goals. Like every time the Broncos Raiders played each other, it was a 9-6 game somehow. Made no sense.
So here we are.
Yeah, and they were playing in LA on a baseball field. So these kickers
Right,
were kicking
yeah, dirt, kicking off the dirt.
dirt infields. Rich Carless, barefoot kicker for the Broncos.
Listening to Gene here a little bit, as the Tigers get close, they are down to the 12-yard line. I won't, I just wanted to take my own ear on Gene there for a minute. But Tigers in the red zone as you're watching the Zaleski Sports Red Zone channel, sponsored by Security Health Plan. Promises kept, plain and simple. Throw to the end zone, and it's going to be hauled in near the 1-yard line. And that's the 6'6" Chris Pohl I was talking about earlier. He was open in the end zone last week over at Hudson, but he was underthrown and the ball was picked off. It was Marshfield's really only scoring opportunity.
First and goal.
But first and goal. So Marshfield's, I didn't see that they were goal to go when they scored their field goal. So to my understanding, this is their first goal to goal of the season.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably right.
They have not gotten to the end zone yet.
No.
They will here though.
No, we're up. Oh, walk the dog, baby. Walk the dog. Marshfield's tied at 9-9. Yeah, and the running back is sprinting off the field. Well, he's got, in high school, there's no end zone celebrations allowed. The back judge will throw a flag, right, if that happens. But if you go to your sideline, you can do whatever you want over there.
Yeah.
It was Abbotsford at Assumption about 4 or 5 years ago. And Abbotsford was running up on the Port Royals that day. And it was 40-something to not very much. And receiving touchdown, put him over 50. And the offensive lineman and a couple others lined up in the end. Marshall takes the lead in the extra point. Lined up in the end zone in the shape of bowling pins. The receiver that caught it rolled the ball and knocked him over.
That's awesome.
8 flags flew. Yeah, it's a game we did live, so look that up after we're done here. Abbotsford at Assumption, 2019 probably, and yeah, you did the bowling pin. Of course, it's unsportsmanlike, but they were up by 40.
Yeah.
So, all right, you'll take a shot at it. And then he was our 3-C winner. So back then, I went in person and interviewed the kids at school. So of course, the first thing I talked about is that. And he said, yeah, he got in trouble. Coach wasn't very happy about it. But I said they looked pretty well organized. He said, yeah, we were practicing it.
Yeah, I'm sure the coach was not thrilled with it.
No. But And Coach Jake Knapmiller is a friend of mine. I just wonder, Coach, if they were practicing that at practice. Probably not, huh?
I hope not.
No, man. Maybe after practice or at gym class or something. But it was very well put together. Like everybody was in a very 45-degree triangle.
Yep.
What do they call that? Is that what I saw?
Just triangle.
Just triangle.
Yeah.
There's different names for the different kinds.
Equilateral.
Equilateral triangle. Thank you, Dan. And so it was perfect, right? It was a perfect triangle. So they obviously practiced it, and he admitted to it when I interviewed him. So, all right, we're in the 3-minute warm-up over in Stratford. Again, Edgar leads 26-6 in the 55th playing of the game. Marshfield has just taken a 1-point lead over at New Richmond. Marshfield looking for its first win of the year after falling at Hudson last week, 31-0. And so what do? You throw a little one-man screen if you're New Richmond after that. Just
little one-handed catch behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Like
move the chains.
Like he does it all the time.
Yeah, I think they call that a slip screen where one offensive lineman pulls and then you throw it to the back coming right in, slipping in behind him. Slip screen.
So let's talk about the Valley Conference a little bit, right?
This could be a short conversation, Dan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Marshfield looks okay. Spash is having a great game tonight.
Yeah.
New Richmond is not a bad team.
No, they're not. No, you're right. And Marshfield being able to play a like-minded Division II, and Marshfield interception.
Yeah.
My Tigers doing it big tonight. Wausau West is the cream of the crop in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. And I don't think anybody in the Valley would think that's a shocking statement. Obviously you always graduate seniors, but all the key players are back, including the running back up at West.
Really good.
Who ran, I think, over 2,000 yards last year. Yeah. Over 20 touchdowns. Marshfield gave them their only loss, though, last year. Marshfield had a really high-powered offense last year. Not the case this year, which brings me then to Marshfield. So, offense looks to be a little slow in the making right now. Not a lot of names yet. A lot of new faces on the offense compared to last year. DC Everest is 2-0. They beat Chippewa last night, and I think Chippewa had beat them 3 years in a row coming into last night. That's a traditional non-conference game for DC Everest. They play home and home this year in Schofield, which was last night. So Everest starts out 2-0. If anybody were to compete for that second place spot, it's probably Everest. My information tells me that West is probably undefeated in conference, and if they happen to win their non-conference games, then maybe they go in the playoffs 9-0.
I wonder who they played today.
Yeah, well, they played Superior last week, and I'm pretty sure they beat Superior last week. So Marshfield, and then we just don't know enough yet about Spash and in Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln. Just don't know enough to know. So if it's West and then it's Everest and then it's Marshfield and can Spash and Lincoln find a way to tangle up with Marshfield in that middle mix, and then you begin to think if one of those teams falter, then they're not playoff eligible, and will more than 3 teams be playoff eligible out of the Wisconsin Valley? You got to win your non-conference games to give you a push towards that playoff eligibility, especially if you're going to beat each other up in conference. Then those question marks begin, and so Marshfield is in this tier, and then a tier that's a half a tier below it, I think, is Spash, Wisconsin Rapids, Lincoln. They can all prove me wrong, though.
And then East.
Probably. You weren't playing for 3 years, right? That's not a slight. It looks like Marshfield coughed it up those games and has given it right back to the New Richmond Tigers. So Tigers fumble, Tigers recover.
Wausau West is playing De Pere tonight.
Okay, that's a good game. That's a good quality opponent. What do you know about it?
They're up 28-7 at half.
So that tells me a lot about Wausau West.
Friend of the show, Chad Holmes.
Yeah, probably is. He doesn't really admit it, but he probably is.
Probably is.
Deep down.
Chad's a great guy.
I've shook his hand before, and it seemed like a nice enough guy. So that tells me West is pretty good football team. Pretty good.
They're showing the Stratford concession stand.
Yeah.
Big fan.
You like it there?
Yeah. So we officiated a couple of years ago.
And they're showing right in the window. You could order some food from here.
Stratford's the year that they lost in the state final. They didn't give up a point until.
That was 2019. 2019.
Yeah, that was the year they were the 2 seed.
Amherst scored sorry, I'm
Yeah.
going to hijack your story for 10 seconds. Amherst scored a touchdown, and afterwards, we found out from the Amherst team it was a tiptoe on the back line. They said his feet weren't in. So, anyway,
And that was at level 3?
that was a.
4. Must have been, maybe 2, I don't know.
It was 3. It was 3.
Yeah, that was the year that they had to go someplace, because they were the 2 seed, so they had to go.
That was the year when the Heart of the North decided they hated the reality and me.
Cumberland or whoever.
And me.
whoever
They
was
played at in Maple, whatever that is, Northwestern.
Yeah. So we officiated week 9 of that year against a fill-in school from Illinois. It was not a close game. But for the officials, they brought us in the back. There's a back room behind the concession stand,
Yep.
and waiting for us, hot dogs, hamburgers, drinks. And I remember being nervous about it because we have a half to officiate here.
Yeah.
Running clock half, it probably took all of 40 minutes to finish the rest of the
At
game.
least 24.
Yeah. But they treat people right in Stratford. Love it.
Yeah. Well, we
Treat
do
people
too.
right.
Yeah, we've liked it there a lot. My family's originally from Stratford, so I've got a family connection there. Matter of fact, there's a Zaleski on the Stratford football team this year, and I think it's the second year on the varsity team. So that's nice.
Yeah. So behind the scenes, the fourth wall thing a little bit. We work with a lot of athletic directors at schools all over the area,
Yeah.
and the schools that have really good athletic directors, we love them.
Really stand out.
Really stand out and really care about the program. Not that some don't care about the programs, because they do.
We're just comparing apples to apples, though. Those really stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. They treat the media fantastically. They treat the officials great. They run a tight ship. They have programs. They let everybody know ahead of time where they have to sit, and it's all organized. You go some places and it's just find a place, right?
Showed up at a playoff basketball game last year, and it's a neutral site game. So you email the host school's athletic director, and the response comes back, "Yep, sure, sounds good. See you then when you get here." Okay. We request certain things, certain accoutrements, as they call it.
Yeah.
And so we get to the facility. It's Zaleski Sports, and then 2 radio stations. We all look, and there's one table, and so we find the facility director, the event coordinator, and he says to the 3 of us, "You guys fight it out." So you want us to fight? Dan remembers, and we were there last year, and I've been there now a couple times. Hudson, they've got a media parking lot right next to the field.
They do. It's
Right
so
next to the
nice.
facility, and they give you snacks and drinks, and so you take, you guys fight it out on this side, and then the other side they've got a parking lot just for us. And
With
then
an attendant who's letting
Yeah.
people in with media passes.
and then some snacks, chips and some drinks, but it's so appreciated, right? And Hudson, I think, maybe realizes that most of these media are coming from hours and hours away, but as you know, we did business in Indiana for a school year.
Yeah.
Every school in Indiana, every sport, every school has a media hospitality room where they've got a full spread, right? Sandwiches, drinks, the whole thing. So you do that, we're more than willing to come to your school. Is that what you were getting at?
It was.
I think I kind of took the whole thing
It
over
was.
there.
No, it's good.
Sorry. Well, yeah, those in this area, though, and we know them, they really stand out. And I think their athletic programs stand out along with it.
For sure. Yeah, it trickles down a little bit.
Yeah, the ones that say fight it out, the athletic programs are lacking.
Stratford almost didn't cover the kick.
They are out of sorts, for sure.
Yeah,
Out of sorts.
The kickoff was bouncing on the field, and everyone just kind of looked at each other. Someone had to jump on it at the last minute.
Yeah, out of sorts is is the best word I can use there. So I want to make sure here, Dan, as I'm just looking at my screen, make sure the games we have on screen are still competitive, and they are. How about that?
Good.
Really, the least competitive game on our screen is Edgar and Stratford. Who would have thought that?
Stratford's going to make a run here.
Here goes New Richmond, down by 1 with the heavy set out there. Under center, quarterback's going to take it.
It's kind of dangerous to run up there. Ugh.
Well, for one, you stick your finger right in your center's rear end. For one, Because you're running up there with your hands out. I mean, you don't know where your fingers are going.
It's called coal mining.
For sure is. And he was, I don't know, there's been no signal made. I don't think they could see anything. No, the signal has been made. It's third down. Third down from 6 inches out for New Richmond.
Just get under center and just run it in.
Well, hold on though. Hold on.
New Richmond coach is not happy.
Well, yeah. And it looks like what happened is the scoreboard operator in the stadium put the 6 on the board, so we copied it. But there was not a touchdown. Marshfield is still leading by 1. It's 3rd and goal. Sometimes that clock operator, right, you'll just put that 6 up there. Right? And we just match what it says. But it's not. It's 10-9.
Home field scoreboard.
Yeah. Yeah. You should have heard, speaking of Hudson, last week, JV football immediately proceeded. So we did that game also, just because we were going to make the long trip out there. May as well go a couple hours early.
Did you have the pizza guy come in?
See 2 foot. Is he out there?
I just saw him. Someone.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on over, buddy. Yeah, let him in. And the Hudson home crowd was on their own clock operator in a JV game. They were on that guy. Oh, felt bad for him.
Stratford, big play.
Yeah.
Still on his feet. This is a big run.
Yeah, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah. Busy night tonight?
It's going okay.
Yeah, okay. You need anything from me?
No. Did you want a copy of the receipt?
Nope.
All right, you take care.
All right, thanks. Have a good
Thank
night. There you go. Can people see this? No, they can't. That's okay. Not a sponsor, so we won't show them. Kind of guy that I am. Kind of guy that I am. But it's hot. I'll tell you that. It's hot pizza.
It's good.
All right, New Richmond now is in, so they score on 3rd and goal.
Stratford had about a 40-yard run.
Kohler Kilty, I'm assuming.
Quarterback keeper this time. Works.
I believe Jack Tubbs is the quarterback of the Stratford football team. Coach Jason Tubbs. So I believe that's what I understood.
Richmond will go for 2, make it a 7-point
Yep.
game.
Yeah, you're up by 5, so that makes sense. Some good games here turning out. And some that I wasn't sure of. I'm going to check that Mosney game, see if they've been allowed to return to the field. But poor Mosney, 2 years in a row with Lightning. Nope, they are still being kept indoors.
How long do they have to wait?
30 minutes between each. 30 minutes.
Yeah, it
30
takes a while.
minutes. Does take
I
a
remember
while.
sitting in Eau Claire and just sitting and sitting. And then you think it's done, and then there's a little flash of lightning. 2-point conversion's good.
Okay, 7-point Tigers lead.
Little flash of lightning, reset the clock. 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's 30 minutes until they can come out, and then they warm up a little bit, or whatever it is. It's player safety, so
Yeah.
we're not going to ever argue it, but all I'm going to say is I had golf league a couple weeks ago, and I thought I was going to get hit by lightning because they didn't call it.
Well, that's interesting too because there haven't been many storms this summer.
Yeah.
Really, only a couple. You got caught in like 1 or 2.
Yeah, it was the storm that hit Anago, and I don't know
Oh
if it was
yeah,
tornadoes.
about a
or-
month ago, right?
Yeah.
Ish. Pittsville 20, Cadott 8. Again, that's our wild card game of the week. Only because just not quite sure.
Need a sponsor for that.
Neilsville Granton 34, Loyal nothing. Neilsville Granton lining up in a goal-to-go situation. They're going to run the clock on Loyal today. So good win for the Warriors.
Cloverbelt action.
Cloverbelt action. Yeah, Loyal's going to struggle. They dropped. So Abbotsford only had 22 kids last week, and Abbotsford kind of ran Loyal out of Abbotsford.
Abbotsford's going to be in trouble in the Marywood this year.
Oh, for sure.
The last year of Marywood football.
It is. A lot of people are upset about that.
Have you heard from Marywood Pride?
No. We used to get the kickoff temperatures. Nothing.
I know.
Nothing. It's disappointing.
Marywood Pride, if you are watching, whoever you are,
Yeah, whoever you
you're
bastard
watching,
creature.
hit us up. We're worried about you.
Well, it's a concern because they were very active last year, like very active. 14-14, Stevens Point and Hudson, and by goodness here, Dan, we've got a clock and we've got the down and distance too over there, so they're getting it together.
It just takes a couple of texts from the boss to straighten things
I
out.
only texted once. What do we have here? What? Oh, I believe our producer in New Richmond is listening to us. He was
Yeah.
giving me an explanation. He
This is a bad play.
was it a turnover?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So New Richmond is going to have an opportunity here to go up by maybe 10 or more.
Yeah.
they're going to have a goal-to-go situation after a turnover. Oh, my Tigers. I love you, but it's tough sometimes.
All right, 3rd and 4. Stratford is at the Edgar 12. So this is 4-down territory. They have
Yeah,
to get 3 touchdowns.
for the rest of the game, right?
Yeah, they're going to call this dead. It was offsides, I think. Or false start, depending on who moved.
Yeah, it'd be a 1st down if it's on Edgar. Yeah, Stratford needs a 3rd quarter touchdown.
It looks like it's more than 4 yards, though, doesn't it? Looking at the yard marker.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's see, they'll march it off. Yeah, 3rd and 1.
Okay.
3rd and 1. You know, I know Dan he's calling that from the press box, and he's a long ways away.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're putting whatever's on the scoreboard on there.
Yeah. Yeah, and depending where you are in the press box, you can't see the scoreboard in Stratford. Is that what you just said?
Yep.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, big play behind line of
Yeah.
scrimmage.
Good tackle there. I'm dripping grease here, Dan. She's a grease monster. This one. It's good though. It hits the spot.
Do you have plates?
Maybe in the back. There's a microwave back there. You can look out there.
Go look.
A roll of paper towels would be good too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
So I'm here for.
Mm-hmm. So it's 4th and 3.
I don't know about plates, but we got paper towels.
Okay, well, that'll do. And New Richmond puts it in. New Richmond's going to go up by 13, looking for 14. And on 4th down, the Wildcat defense stops them.
Number 50 is pumped.
Yeah, well, he's made 2 tackles in a row. Thank you. 2 tackles in a row for number 50.
I really feel like Stratford needed that.
Yeah, I thought they needed a 3rd quarter touchdown, just to have your sights set on the 4th quarter math. But that's doesn't look as possible now, with Edgar taking over at its own 11-yard line. Number 50, we're going to call him out here, Dan, because that was 2 really good tackles there, 2 really good plays in a row for 50. And I've got the rosters right over here. So you were saying last year for the Merrillwood, a lot of people are upset about that. Why do you think that is?
Tradition. And it's not the same, right? It used to be Edgar and Stratford. It's the normal Merrillwood teams that you see in basketball and that.
Mm-hmm.
Merrillwood has the label of a really good sports conference.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe the best small school conference in the entire state.
Basketball for sure.
Yeah.
Boys and girls. Yeah.
A lot of sports.
Mm-hmm.
And losing that and going to the CWC Small next year, I think
That's where they're going. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the same.
Doesn't have the same panache. CWC small.
Yeah.
How can you be Merrillwood Pride when you're CWC small? What do you do with that then?
Yeah. And it's also a level of play. So Edgar is kind of getting sent, I don't want to say down.
Well, it's lesser competition.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, they're going to be playing more schools that are Edgar's size. So Edgar's not going to see Colby. Edgar's not going to see Stratford or Amherst, right?
Right.
Where it makes more sense that if they were all together, it'd be a lot more fun football for us fans and media to watch. Rather see that than nothing against Assumption and Pacelli and Pittsville.
Roshold. Yeah.
Yeah, I might not even have the schools right. I'm not sure.
No, those are the ones.
Yeah. So, and those other schools would rather probably not see Edgar once a year, because if this Edgar, and not saying anything bad about any of the schools, right? But Edgar has a football tradition. The entire town revolves around football.
Right. You birth a boy and you plan on that boy playing football in Edgar.
Yeah, for sure. If Edgar plays Pittsville in this season, it's as much as Edgar wants to win by.
Correct.
And be nice about it.
And a 0 on the other side no matter what.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, Edgar does punt after the big defensive stop. They punt, and it's going to be a net punt.
It's still going back.
It's a net punt of about 4 yards.
Yeah.
It is. It's a 4-yard punt.
Had a lot of English on that punt.
Actually, it's not. I see the down marker. It's a negative, about negative 2 yards on the punt.
Oh, running into the kicker.
So they get bailed out.
First down.
And that's enough for a first down.
Yeah, there is no running to the kicker in high school. It's
Either way,
nothing or nothing.
it was 4th and 4 anyway, so any penalty on Stratford would have given Edgar a first down.
Yeah, there's no 5-yard penalty in high
And
school.
that's been Stratford today,
Yeah.
right? You offense got shut down, but you defense comes out, you hold them, you're 3 and out, they're punting, and then you run into the kicker. That's been Stratford's night.
Marshfield's got 3rd and 15
Yeah, 4th quarter.
on the wrong side of momentum right now.
4th quarter in New Richmond. So you
Throw
go to
10
this,
yards short.
yep, 6'6" guy, and he got halfway there. But, punt upcoming for the Tigers.
Think they go?
I don't think they will. Now, I don't know how much time is left. I can't see that. It's got to be early 4th quarter. No, offense stayed on the field. The quarterback is getting the play, so yeah, you're right. That's why I'm not a football coach. I'd be way too conservative.
I mean, if you give it away, are you going to get the ball back 2 more times?
Mm-hmm. Good point. And as we were told last night by Bob Radovich and Ryan Sparger, in high school football, it is extremely rare to see a 2-possession 4th quarter comeback.
Yeah.
So, and he gets it though, brings it in. Wow.
Good throw, good catch.
8 minutes left, says Lucas in New Richmond. Thank you, Lucas. Thanks for watching. And thanks for driving out to New Richmond tonight.
Another big play for Edgar. Pass play.
Yeah, 8 minutes left is not much time, Dan. So that makes me understand more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe I'm too conservative, or maybe I'm just not that smart.
Roughing the passer on a big, long pass play.
Yeah, Stratford is just playing, just not playing. It's just not working. Not working for Stratford.
It's almost time to turn this game off.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. If Edgar scores, I think we're going to Gerke.
Because we're 14-14, 4th quarter, 8 minutes left, and it's Spash Hudson knotted up. Who would have thought that after Hudson runs Marshfield out of St. Croix County last week, 31-0, that they're going to come here and be knotted up with Spash at 14. It's crazy. High school football.
The 3-hour road trip is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
It's a long ways to go. In a cramped up bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple buses, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I know West went to Superior last week.
Last
They took
week,
a
yep.
couple buses.
Yep.
Carter Butt's going to walk into the end zone.
3rd touchdown today for Butt, or is he got all 4?
I don't remember. I think.
Or 5. They got 5 touchdowns now. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's his 3rd or his 4th.
Yeah.
Edgar is running away with us.
They're looking good. This is the Edgar team that we figured we would see this year. We didn't see it last week.
This is, and on the same note, this is not the Stratford team I figured I was going to see tonight. It's a different team out there. I'm not sure what it is. You know, they had a couple of miscues in that 1st quarter, but they also played well defensively, right? In that first drive, 7-minute drive, they withstood Edgar and turned him back. But since then, since about 2 minutes left in the 1st quarter, Edgar has decided this is just our game, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, Trevor's going to have a really fun bus ride back to Edgar tonight, and he might actually stay. You've partied in Edgar before.
I have.
He may party tonight in Edgar.
The old Butt Garage.
And the Buck Garage is whooping it up right now.
It is.
Yeah, that'd be the place to be tonight, if you couldn't be here.
We're going to be in the Zaleski Sports Studio. Plenty of room for more.
Halftime at Carson Park in Eau Claire. It's Lacrosse Central 24, Eau Claire Memorial 14.
Halftime?
That was about 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so second half probably just about ready to begin. Long first half though, but a lot of scoring. Right, 5 touchdowns. That can make things go a little slow. Quarterback draw for the Tigers is going to net him a first down.
Yep.
a much needed first down on 3rd and 5. I mean, again, you're down by 15, and with the clock situation, and Marshfield just not able to go quick. They just don't have the big play this year, not to this point anyway. So now I'll be a little bit better of a football coach here. You're going to go down and score, and then you're going to onside kick. What are we
Just
gonna do?
just laughing at number 74 teeing this up for Edgar. He's a big boy.
He certainly is.
This is why they don't kick extra points.
Yeah, and again, when you don't have a boys soccer team, even the coaches at football practice look around who can kick, and like eight or 10 kids always raise their hand,
Yeah.
and you just happen to get it, get the job. It's a good kick though, down to the 15. It's pretty good for high school.
It's a good return.
Well, again, penalties fly, so they're going to have a personal foul here.
Yeah, they're calling a late hit on the kicker, who looks like a lineman.
Well, because he is. Yeah, it's all over but the crying, it looks like, in Stratford tonight. 26-point Edgar lead. Wow. Wow.
Was that picked off? Oh, almost.
Yeah, the New Richmond's pointing the other way, but our line judge said hit the turf.
Yeah, he dove in front of the ball. Looked like he just about came up with it.
Yep. And again, our zebras tonight in shorts, F-. I'll get that call tonight. I know I will. I'm not sure where he is at. Speaking of a friend of mine that's a white hat currently, I don't know where he's at tonight. He usually doesn't go too far. But he would have. So he's so known for this that multiples have probably already texted him. So he'll just find out when he gets in his car after the game, or people are sending him screenshots of these guys.
Yeah, that
Passing the flat's going to go nowhere, and it's going to be 4th down. So
clock still runs.
Game for Marshfield could be over on this next snap. Then we'll have to turn. Then we'll turn that one off. And we're probably going to go
Gerke.
top screen here. Should we do it now?
Yeah.
Is there any reason to keep this on? Okay. Edgar Stratford. Is there any reason to keep this on? I just said that.
Doesn't sound right.
No. What? There is no reason. Am I missing it? Well, that's.
We are
let me do this here.
blessed on the Zaleski Sports Network tonight.
We
Generally,
are.
there's only a couple
There we go.
there's only a couple of close games in the entire state most weeks.
Yeah. We've got a few.
It's pretty rare.
Got some choices.
Marshfield did not convert.
So that game is done. Only because no time left. They're down by 14. Other team has the ball, and probably about 4 minutes left. Long bus ride home for Marshfield 2 weeks in a row. Hudson last week, talking about a 3-hour bus ride. And New Richmond's not that much closer. That's maybe a 25-minute drive from New Richmond to Hudson.
Yeah.
So another 2.5-hour drive home for Marshfield to think about what they got to do.
Yeah, it might be the same distance. I think you have to go north, don't you?
It's true. You do. You leave the interstate. Yeah, and that may cause me to. Oh, now I did it. That may cause me to rethink my position about Marshfield and Spash. I had Marshfield ahead of Spash coming into tonight. Now these are such knee-jerk reactions. We are still in a lightning delay in Clintonville. It's a very long night for Mosney. I said already we had a running clock over in Loyal, and that is the case, or in Greenwood. Neilsville Granton 47, Loyal nothing, so no reason to keep watching that game.
If you're watching that game, keep watching it.
Yeah, I'm just telling you our thoughts. I'm running out of options. We are getting to the end of it here. It is the 4th quarter.
6.5 minutes left. This would be a huge upset
Correct.
across the state.
Correct.
Hudson's ranked, aren't they?
Well, yeah, maybe. Let me take a look. These days, we only look at Zaleski Sports rankings. So let me take a look, though. Let me take a look. Well, and because they're unbiased, right? The coaches can send in all kinds of weird stuff. So we provide an impartial service on the rankings. Well, let's see what we had for the Hudson Raiders. They're good, so I ranked or whatever, but they're good.
Well, Packers trying to get on the scoreboard, sacked. Plato's Pizza commercial. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love home furniture. Whoa!
Nice.
I remember watching this commercial as a kid. Different furniture in the commercial, though.
Right now, people enjoying the inner workings of Zaleski Sports as I comb through. It doesn't look like we had Hudson ranked. Again, could be wrong. Maybe they should be. But they're a very good football team. They're big, and they're skilled, which is two good things to have for a football team.
I was just looking at this on Zaleski Sports. I was looking at your rankings. What do you know about week 3? Nothing?
Nothing today, no. Other than I think you and I are maybe going to Elk Mountain coming up.
All right.
This either this coming week or the next one.
Taking a long weekend next weekend. 5 days.
You are. Well,
Yeah.
good for you.
Have to burn time. Off Friday, off Tuesday.
Well, let's see here. Football ranking. Foosball. Water boy, right? Foosball?
My mama said
Pretty good sports movie.
the reason that crocodiles are so ornery is they got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
Mama's right, you know. Vicky Valancourt.
That sounds right, yeah.
Sounds right.
Professor looks just like the KFC guy. Colonel Sanders. It's warm in here.
I was going to open that door a minute ago, and then I forgot. Turn the air off. The unit's right next to the door, which is right next to the microphone. Not good. Not good for the audience
Not
at
great.
home when that happens.
Not great. Someone must be hurt in this bash game.
Yeah, play has come to a complete stop. Well, actually, we do have Hudson ranked number 10 in our Zaleski Sports rankings. So Hudson ranked 10.
I saw you drop that Regis is out.
Regis dropped out, huh? Well, people really took to heart that loss to Prescott.
Well, they got shut out.
Yeah, well, that can happen. Stratford was ranked number 1 in Division 6.
Probably not even.
Well, we'll see what we come up with next week. It depends, right? But Mondovi, St. Mary Springs, Kewanee, all right behind them. Auburndale coming in at number 8 and another win today. The Eagles could be climbing the charts. Yeah, a very long break on the field with the camera not pointed on the field is an injury over at Gerke. We may get done here and maybe able to drive over to Gerke and watch the final minute.
Maybe.
So especially if they go to overtime, just walk right in there. I know how to get in the back door.
So talking about the Marewood, you'd think it would be Colby Edgar, one way or the other. Auburndale kind of making a statement. Maybe in that group. Auburndale, I want to say Edgar beat Auburndale by a touchdown last year. Auburndale had a good team last year. They were good. I don't know what they graduated.
Most of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did graduate most of it.
big play by Wrightstown.
he slapping the defender out of his way. That was pretty cool. He had a big run out for Wrightstown, and Wapaka defender was racing after him, but then had to turn to run with him, and he was getting slapped in the back of the head by the ball carrier. Love it.
So tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
Wausau.
Yeah, Newman. So Newman football, 3 lakes, the Blue Jays and the Cardinals, birds going at it.
This is the, I don't know if it's the first year of the new 8-man conferences because I think they were just whatever still. But now it's conferences of 7 teams maybe or something.
Well, what's happened is the teams that have recently converted, they've sat their 2 years out, and now they're, in the conference now.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose they were probably listed in those standings maybe, but they're now officially official. And more joining, right? More of you are joining. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, there was a lot of, I would say, hurt feelings last year. From
Owen for sure. Owen was very
Owen,
hurt.
Withy, Thorpe, all really
Yeah.
upset that they weren't able to participate in the playoffs. And I mean, a rule's a rule, but could they have beaten Newman? It would have been a great game.
Yeah, we'll never know.
We didn't get to see it.
Yeah, and Dan's right. A rule is a rule, and even more so than that, it's the coaches who make the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So the Coaches Association proposes and amends and moves forward the rules. And the rule is that when you change conferences, you are playoff ineligible for 2 years. This then dissuades teams from just jumping from conference to conference based on the competitiveness of their team from year to year, right? So that's why it's a rule. Because if it wasn't, could you imagine? You would have everybody would be in a different conference every single year. So that's the rule. You need to sit out for 2 years. So what happened with Owen Withy is, in 11-player format, they left the Merriwood Conference. So you've now left your conference, and now you've joined whatever the conference is for 8-player. Or you petitioned to join, which it was accepted. So now you must sit for playoffs for 2 years, which they had to do, but they didn't want to. And they had tricked a certain ABC affiliate in Marathon County into running with that story. They did not trick me. They asked me, and I said, "Well, no. Here's the rule." And they got a little bit upset with me, actually. Too bad. It's a rule. And I say they. I mean, I didn't chase down who the names were. They were people from that area. Maybe they were from the school. Maybe they were from the community. I don't know. Don't care, because they wanted me to report something that was false.
I did see the report, and it was distributed as it's unfair. Let the kids play, and in the WIA for what they are, what they do a pretty good job, which is enforcing the rules agreed upon by schools, right? And I'll raise my hand and say that I'll defend the WIA a lot of times, not every time, but for a lot of things they stick to their guns, but they are the police of the rules that have been agreed upon.
Yes, they are. Yep, they're the arbiter.
They are not able to just make their own rules. They're not able to say, you know what? Yeah, sure, you guys can play this here.
Yeah, and to that end, they never have.
Yeah,
Right?
they
Okay.
just can't.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, it seems like the reporter interviewed school administration, coaches, probably some players and parents.
Yep. I remember Coach being one of them. Right.
Yeah, and ran with the story as it was told to them, which is what you do as a reporter. But yeah.
Well, you also need to do some homework and prove its validity. Right. So, and the school was just looking for some. I think they thought they could somehow sway the decision if they got some press with it.
Yeah.
Which was never. I mean, you don't sway a rule, as you just said. So the real short and dirty on it is, in 2020, Owen Withy didn't feel like they had a competitive varsity football team, so they fielded and there weren't any seniors, and I think maybe just one junior that came out for the team. So rather than put the kids through a very tough Merriwood season, Colby and Edgar and Abbotsford was pretty decent, and Auburn, rather than subject the kids to pain, and maybe then they never come back out again.
Yeah.
They fielded a JV only team in 2020, but that doesn't depart you from the conference.
Yeah.
You're still a part of that conference, and you need to alert the WIAT your intentions of leaving the conference, which they also did not do. So, which means they were still in their back pocket. Hey, if this turns around next year, we'll just go back to varsity 11 man.
Yeah.
Which I would do. Anybody would hold that card just in case.
Yep.
Didn't happen. As a matter of fact, less kids even turned out the next year, so they officially then filed for their move out of the Merriwood Conference, which the 2 years then are 2021 and 2022, which were the last 2 years. They're now playoff eligible this year, and I wish them nothing but success.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people might not know that football conferences, the WIA handles it.
Yeah,
It isn't a how many petition, we talk to the commissioner, the teams vote. It's not
Right.
that. The WIA sets every football conference. They balance it with enrollment and
Right.
geography the best that they can.
right.
It's not perfect, but it really is better, right? I think it's better. You had some conferences that had 10 teams, so they had 9 conference games. Other conferences had 6 teams, they're playing 5 conference games, and it really, everybody has 7 conference games now,
Right.
and it's better.
Which then back to the Merriwood Conference and why it's dissolving, because right now they have so few teams that they actually had an exemption ruled in their favor that they were allowed to play 2 teams from the CWC small and count those as conference games, so they could be factored into playoff eligibility and to have a conference season. So the WI assisted with that, and who was remaining from the Merriwood, I think there's only 5 left now. So there must be 6 left. So you got 5, and then you got 2 more games out of the CWC small. So the WI then assists after they approve the exemption. Then they assist with competitive balance on, okay, we really recommend you play these 2, and you play these 2, and you play these 2, and then the conferences agree. So that's what happened there. It's not that the Merriwood Conference wanted to fold; it's that the school enrollments and the participation rates of football had became so low that those teams had to leave the conference.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, we're seeing less and less kids even participate in sports.
Yeah, it is sad. Quite
Across
sad.
the board.
Quite sad. All sports.
Yeah.
Quite sad. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Wrightstown is going to wrap up. It looks like a shutout win over Wapaka in Wapaka. 28-0 right now. And this is going to sound silly, Dan, but that Wapaka, based on this game, compared to last year, has improved because
Yeah.
last year's team probably gets beat by more than 28-0, probably considerably more. So, an improvement. We're taking steps for the Wapaka Comets. We're taking steps towards this. Again, Bennett Hansen's a good football coach, and I suppose it won't be this year, but it will be in the coming years, and I think you'll talk about Wapaka Comets football. So we take a look at the top of the screen, just right down the road here in Gerke Field. The Smash Panthers bench has emptied to give their well wishes to whomever the injured player is. We don't know who or what team
It's
or
a
anything.
Hudson player.
It is,
Because
okay.
Hudson kids are out there.
Okay. So, but both benches have emptied to give a pat on the back to the injured player who's now leaving the field.
It was a really long,
on a stretcher,
long injury.
on a cart, right?
Yeah.
On a rolling stretcher.
Um,
Yeah, that was about 15 minutes.
15, 20 minutes.
Mhm.
It was 15 minutes since we turned it.
Yeah. So it looks like they're going to get ready to get back to action, which is a good thing because this game is tied. 6:29 left, and we are knotted up at 14. I don't think we have any other games. So we have that one on the screen. Okay. Well, let's just take a quick. We had our wild card game, so let's take a look at that one and see if that has tightened up. Otherwise, we're nearing the end here, Dan, on week 1 of the Red Zone channel, sponsored by Secure the Health Plan. Promises kept, plain and simple. Pretty good night.
It's fun.
Hang out, watch games, eat pizza.
Yeah, do another bit.
That's the Red Zone channel. Let's see, Central. Oh, shoot, I clicked on the wrong button. Central Memorial. Let's see here. We are in a commercial break over there. At last check, it was a multi-score lead for Lacrosse Central over my Abe's. Oh boy, yeah, 38-14. So that one has gone the way of the what do they call themselves now? The Riverhawks, I think, Lacrosse Central.
How about our game of the day? How's that looking?
Stratford Edgar.
Yeah.
Well, let's take another peek. Still a lot of people watching it. 40-6.
Oh,
We are 2 points shy of a running clock over there.
when's the last time that
Well,
happened?
and I was just going to say, I would guess never. That would be my. If you want me to throw out a guess card there, I'd never. Those games are usually just so weird. Well, and this one's weird, but in a totally different way.
Yeah.
They're usually so weird, and you get that 14-13 out of nowhere. When there's been some years where one team has been quite a bit better than the others, but they haven't had a running clock. And then there's been times where they've played in that regular season. There goes our very own Mike Wendland on the field. He's going to chase down the Wrightstown team. That they've had a regular season game, and then they played in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And that was only, last time of that was maybe 18, 19 years ago. Strange, Edgar, and Stratford. Spash,
Spash is going
looking to do
slow.
something here. They want to win this game. And we've got Mosney and Clintonville yet. Okay, they're just coming back on the field now to warm up. They have been in a delay for an hour and a half.
It's the second quarter.
Yep, hour and a half delay. Poor kids. Well, our wild card game is a 2-score game. Pittsville 34, Cadott 20. 10 minutes left though in the fourth, and Cadott with the ball. So maybe, just maybe, as our boys in Eau Claire correctly pointed out last night, very, very few 2-score fourth quarter comebacks in high school football. Just so tough to do. You just don't have that kind of playmaking ability on a high school football team, by and large. If you did, you wouldn't be down by 2 scores.
You don't have the playbook. You don't practice the reps of hurry up offense.
No, you got to run plays in all the time, and that takes almost the entire play clock every time.
Yeah, and the coaches just don't practice timeouts and spiking the ball. Like, it's just we watch it on Saturday and Sundays of like playing Madden.
Yeah, right.
We're like, oh, I gotta spike it, I gotta bounce. But like, it's different playing Madden or watching it on TV and knowing 11 guys in your team that realize that, like, I have to line up, I have to be right here, and they spike it.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't practice it. You practice so much other stuff.
Yeah.
Like teaching football.
Correct. How to snap the ball, right?
Yeah.
How the holes are numbered even and odd on left and right side of the line.
That's
all
a
that.
touchdown.
Smash Panthers take the lead with 5 minutes to play. Wow, that is a story right now. I thought our story was going to be Wausau East moving to 2-0. That didn't happen, I don't think. Although maybe, but probably not. But here's the story: Smash Panthers, after getting run out of their own house last week against Mukwonago, have a 6-point lead, looking for 7 over Hudson late at Gerke Park.
Doesn't make sense.
No. What about that, though? You got a light-up bicycle. That doesn't make much sense either.
Big fat tires.
So it's a 7-point lead for the Spanish Panthers. Wow. That's our surprise tonight. Some assistant coach, too, after the teams came off the field, Dan. I should rewind that for you. Watch. Down here, bottom left. Coach comes off on the field to chest bump, big number 77. Or some number. Yeah, big 77 coming here. Here, watch. He gets bounced backward. That's what the coach gets for trying to chest bump his left tackle. You're going to get bumped right back out of bounds. He went for a ride. I see that Mike got a haircut before today's game, so that's good.
Looking good.
I got a haircut today, too. So it's a good I was a couple days late because I would have rather had the shorter hair on Wednesday. But,
Gilman, 74-0 winner.
Pirates.
Athens, 44-0.
All right, those two will play later in the year.
Let's see what else we got.
You had Prairie Farm whooping up on Greenwood earlier.
Royal Lander, 27-15.
Still playing?
Fourth quarter.
Yeah, 2-score game, though.
You saw Altoona last week, right?
Yeah, they lost to Fall Creek. Yeah.
They are up 20 on Osseo.
Okay, good game there for Fall Creek, or for Altoona. Yeah, Fall Creek had their way. That may have been a shutout win for Fall Creek last week. Remind me about that game after I didn't go through the scores though. I got an update on that.
Hurley wins by 14 at Ashland.
The Ordocker is falling at home.
Playing up.
Yeah, well, good for Hurley. That's since we've got familiar with Hurley over the last couple of years, I respect that program.
Yeah,
Good people there.
They were really nervous about enrollment numbers and being able to even field a team, and glad that they're still playing 11-man.
Yeah, do it while you can. Do it while you can.
Tomahawk leads my T-Birds 7-0 fourth quarter.
Just
No
a
offense.
T-Bird situation this year. It's a T-Bird situation. Now I'm forgetting the name. Key player for the Fall Creek boys basketball team. I can't remember these names sometimes, Dan. Whole family of athletes over there, but key cog in that Fall Creek basketball and the football team for that matter. And I believe he is planning on playing collegiately football. He's a senior. Word that I got as the teams left the field last week was a broken leg.
Ooh.
Yeah. Bo. Tough. Anybody breaks their leg playing sports. That's because the high school sports experience is so short-lived.
Yeah.
Just a couple of years.
Plus, it's multi-sports.
Yeah, and if you play at a bigger school, I mean, your varsity experience is just a couple of years.
Yep.
And and then a broken leg in your senior year is just tough. Tough.
Medford 52, Onalaska 21.
Well,
that seems like a good win. Onalaska
that's a really good win.
Lots of athletes.
No, that's a really good win for Medford. Congratulations to the Raiders there. I know their hometown broadcast team abandoned them, and they go down and win in Onalaska. So good for them. They did.
Abandoned just for this game?
Decided they wanted to watch Colby with a 50-point win over Spencer Columbus for some reason.
It's closer.
Instead of Medford. Well, okay, but bad business plan.
Assumption loses 69-30.
Yeah.
A lot of offense.
Yeah.
In a running clock game.
Yeah, right. Running clock at the half, too.
Yeah. Antigo 14, Sturgeon Bay 7. That would be a good win for the Red Robins.
All right, yes, it would be.
Wausau West 42-7 over De Pere.
Yeah, West is for real.
Yeah, pretty good.
Week 2 reaction. I had them from the jump though. People know that.
Just going through looking for. Let's see. Fond du Lac must be down. They lose 45-6 today.
Yeah, no Braylon Allen, sorry.
Yeah.
No Braylon Allen.
Two Rivers over Amherst 48-26.
Yeah, I think Amherst is gonna be a little surprised about how things will go this year. I think they've had a lot of recent success over the last 10 years. It's been fun to watch. They have guys play in the NFL, still in the NFL. But of course, if you're in the NFL, you're not playing high school football anymore.
True.
And I think maybe not the team, but maybe the town folk are going to be have something happen that hasn't happened there in a while. I think. Orange Rivers is really good.
Scores from yesterday, a couple of them we probably didn't talk about. Everest, 24-14.
Yeah, a good defensive effort for the Greens last night. The offense was good, but the defense was pretty darn good.
Rapids Lincoln, 28-6 losers to Stoughton.
Yeah, they lost to River Falls in week 1. They lose to Stoughton in week 2. That's been a long-running non-conference series between those schools in Wisconsin Rapids.
Remember Coleman a couple years ago?
The Coleman Panthers.
Yeah. 30-12 winners over Bonduel was usually pretty good.
Bonduel Bears, okay.
Kimberly
Never heard of them.
beat Bayport 17-14.
That was last night, yeah,
Last night.
right. Okay. Good win for Kimberly. They had to sit out week 1 because nobody wants to play them. I don't think they got a game in week 1. I don't think they did.
They did.
No. Yeah, and it's tough, right? Because we're talking about 16, 17-year-old kids, but just your school tradition is just so much that you couldn't find an opponent. Nobody willing to take a loss. You know, and the other teams that maybe would be of your caliber probably have scheduled out far in advance, you know, years in advance. And why do I need to take you? I'm already playing this really other good team that's just a few miles away. Probably is the case.
Screen.
Yeah, Hudson has got a 2nd and 16, and they're going to get about 6 of it. So big 3rd down coming up for the Smash Panthers defense. Still 4 minutes left. I don't know the timeout situation. But it's a 1-score game, so Hudson could afford to punt. They're not. They're at their own 37-yard line.
I bet you they'd go for it.
You say that every time.
Well, I mean, because
Time is drawing nigh, though, isn't it?
it really is. And if you have timeouts, you might as well just keep the game in your hands.
Okay. Big throw into double coverage, and it's picked off. Panthers intercepted. All right, an interception is worth looking up somebody's number because that guy is going to get crushed on the sideline by his teammates. Wow, we just had an injury, guys. Come on here. He'd being mobbed on the Panthers sideline for good reason. He may have just sealed the game for his Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Hudson has to make something happen. He threw into double coverage.
Yep.
It looked like cover 2. The safety over the top came up and got it.
And then I'm going to bet, Dan, you're going to tell me that it's essentially the same thing as a punt.
It is.
Okay. Because it was probably going to be incomplete. If it's not, I mean, that he was bracketed so that pass wasn't going to drop in. So
little worse than a punt, but I think this would have gone for it.
yeah. So Smash takes over on their own 44-yard line.
A lot of running here.
I'm going to look up number 24. Oh yeah, handoff.
They aren't even covering the receiver on the outside.
There's no reason. Yeah. So they'll get 3 on 1st down. And number 7 here, Adam Noskoviak says, I'm on Kanapaki. He says, wind it up, wind that clock.
Yep.
24 with the interception is Jackson Spees. Good interception there, kid.
Yep.
Good interception.
Yeah, so Spash had 2 split out wide right, and there was 1 defender over there.
And I'm not even sure why there was 1. I guess just to keep them honest, right? But man, there wouldn't even need to be 1. Because in no way is, and I should know this kid's name, the quarterback. I just can't. Big trouble there though.
Oh, it's still loose.
Snap goes at the quarterback's ankles.
Oh,
he did fall on it though.
Then 42 here
Took
twisted his ankle.
a kick to the ankle. You know about that.
I'm still recovering. 3 weeks out.
I was there.
Yeah.
There were T-shirts. I have a T-shirt. I meant to wear it tonight, but then I decided to wear this instead. But we need to have a T-shirt that says about the ankle. I was there.
Yeah, I partially tore 3 ligaments in my ankle.
That's crazy.
Playing volleyball.
Well, thank goodness partially because they can heal. Otherwise, you'd be surgery.
Surgery.
You'd have surgery by then. Probably would have had it already.
Yeah, well, it's still really, really swollen. 3 weeks out. But I will say that we did win trophies. Not in volleyball.
State champs.
That's right.
Bullseye Ball, state champs right
Undefeated.
here. Undefeated. We ran the table that day.
I had to talk trash to a female I was playing in the finals.
Hey, listen. Here's the reality of it. Right? You can't pick your opponents.
You can't.
They put them there. We play.
You play who's in front of you.
Yep. That's the reality of the situation.
And they obviously won a bunch of games to get to the finals against
There
us.
they were. Right? There they were on the other side of the bracket. After the lightning delay, by the way, Mosney did come down and score. They lead 35-12. They're going to get to halftime about the time we're going to wrap up here. We won't stay for the end of the Mosney game, as it turns out.
No, it's going to be like a 3-minute halftime, too. It's going to be.
Could be, right? They may have already agreed on that.
Yeah.
It certainly could be. Because they had an hour and a half
Mostly
break.
doesn't want to sit there for another 20 minutes or whatever.
So the Marshfield game has expired. Tell you what. Because we are a full-service company here. We'll give the people the Mosney game up in the top left. Because right now that's just sitting there doing nothing. So there you go. Enjoy.
Big 3rd down.
Yep, third and 9. Spash at their own 45. Hudson looking to get the ball back with under 2 minutes to play. Quarterback will keep and not going to get there. So they're going to make Hudson use a timeout, and they do. They call it right away.
I have no idea how many timeouts.
They call it right away. So they at least had 1 left. So Hudson's going to get the ball back. They'll probably be deep, pin deep. What I will say was last week, what I saw out of the Marshfield game, Hudson's running game was good. And maybe they just didn't have to throw the ball, but I didn't see anything passing-wise last week. not of any note anyway. But here, Hudson's going to have to throw the ball, especially if they have no timeouts left. By the time they snap their first offensive snap on the next possession, about 1:45 will be left.
Clock does stop on first down
It does.
for the chains to move.
That's
It's
the
not,
help.
it's not a hard timeout.
Yeah, it does roll though after
It does.
everybody's set.
It does.
So. Well, good game here. And Jack Rosicki, somewhat new around here. He came on back in April, calling his second ever football game for his. He's an alumni of Spash, so he gets to call. Maybe he gets to call one of Spash's better wins here in the last few years, if the score holds. Let's.
They bring the pressure, and Nelson gets it away.
We'll give Jack a little love here.
Under his Jaeger.
The microphone is right next to the TV there,
He'll
so
go up the left sideline.
we'll sit back and listen.
And he'll be taken down around the 30
Gotta
yard
go 70
line.
yards.
We'll get started.
Matter of fact,
last chance.
I'm going to take a
Here.
30-second break. You okay with that?
I like it.
Since we got Jack Rosicki on the microphone.
We'll stay
And I've been
here
sitting
on
for
the
3+ hours. That's rough.
I know. Now I can tell everybody all the secrets about Zaleski sports.
We're also thinking about who's ditching, and hopefully he's all right. Give you an update as soon as we can. Ball at the 29-yard line. Schultz in shotgun. McKinnon, Gutierrez.
Hudson,
left.
state-ranked team.
And he's going to throw it. That's going to be caught by Jamison. He makes a move, makes a defender miss, but can't make the second one. That's a big play, number 39, Isaac Berg.
Pass out to the flat, not going to get it done.
Time being a huge factor, the minute 20 remaining. Schultz is going to drop back. He throws, and it's caught. Right over the fingertips.
Up to the
of
45.
defender. That's number 21, Lyndon Coleman. Coleman having a solid second half. Minute 15, clock continues to run. Hurry up offense here from the Raiders. 1st and 10, ball at the 45. Schultz gets the snap, he's going to throw it. That's Jamison once again. Jamison up the right sideline, he's taken down. Gain of 6 on the play.
Across midfield.
We're approaching the 1 minute mark here. As Hudson looks to keep rolling here. He's going to do a pump fake. He looks. He's going to throw over to Jaeger. Jaeger makes a man miss. Jaeger.
As I said, Dan, Hudson with a prolific passing offense.
First down. 48 seconds here. Hudson trails.
I think that's what I said before I left. I could be wrong.
In the red zone of Stevens Point.
Well, sometimes, you got your backs against the wall.
Schultz in shotgun.
Maybe you find out you can do certain things.
Throws behind the
Yeah, threw behind him that time.
The intended was Keon.
It's a good drop.
Keon Scott.
He wasn't going to be at the first down
I
stick.
almost think maybe that drop was beneficial for the Raiders. This clock would have kept running. They do have one timeout remaining though. 36.
Edgar has defeated Stratford. That game is final.
2nd and 10 here. Schultz in shotgun. In motion is Jaeger. He looks for Jaeger. He throws to him. He's open. Jaeger
Ooh.
looks to get out of bounds. He doesn't.
He doesn't get out of bounds, though.
First down?
25 seconds we sit at.
They don't know.
No, they marked
No?
like 2 years behind.
Okay.
Timeout.
Oh, this guy,
Look at this.
quarterbacks. Oh, yeah.
His spot.
There should be 2 flags there, right? So false start and not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Would it be a false start? Would be because 74 was don't know what, way back there.
He was still trying to
Not
get
get
there.
back to his designated spot on the offensive line.
Should have taken a timeout.
And with 15 seconds to
If they
go,
had one.
there's going to be a penalty.
Sounds like they have
so it might be
one.
a
Okay.
10-second runoff.
I don't know if they do that in high school.
No, there's no runoff in high school. Like I said, Jack's new around here.
There's a false start. 5-yard penalty here.
They might wind the clock though.
Ball is at the 36-yard line, 37-yard line.
When I was officiating, I wasn't the clock
It's going
guy.
to be 3rd down and 6.
There we go. We'll give the people a better look at it here.
Oh,
It's
we
gonna
gotta
be
take a
caught
timeout
by
here.
Coleman. When he's taken down
Yeah,
immediately, it's
so
gonna be
timeout was called.
He's running 5 seconds now. And the Hudson Raiders.
So we're gonna have one play.
Final
One play.
timeout.
Yeah, and again, we talk about end of game situations that seem really easy for NFL teams and college teams to do the 2-minute warning drill, right? But these high school offenses, you have to go 40 yards and they're passing out in the flat 6 yards downfield. They're just not getting there. They just don't have the playbooks. They don't have the wherewithal to even do it. It's just different.
Yeah, all these kids know to do now is what they have learned playing Madden.
Yep.
It's all, and maybe it'll work. But this, in high school, probably not very likely that a quarterback can throw the ball 45 yards, because by the time he snaps it and backs up, he'll be on the 40-yard line. You're going to need to throw it into the end zone, so you're going to, 41 to 45 yards. That's probably not very likely. So right now, for the first time ever, those kids are seeing coach draw on the whiteboard so a drag route that's going one way and then others that are coming the other way.
Hook and ladder.
Right.
It's got to be hook and ladder.
Yeah, but it's the first time these kids have seen it.
Yeah.
I would find it hard to believe that in the first couple weeks of practice, that play was practiced at all, and if it was, more than once.
It's like a basketball coach drawing something up
Right.
in the huddle.
Yep. All right, well, here we go. So they're going to sprint out left and
He's gonna throw
heave.
it up. Well, it's way short.
And it's intercepted.
What a win.
Smash Panthers victorious on this Friday night. And look at them. They know it's a big win. They know it. The way they're rushing the field. We got a guy doing somersault on the field. Wow. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to watch it again.
He did a forward flip.
That's a gymnastics move.
Yeah.
Let's see it again. I know people at home, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It is easier to do backwards.
Here he goes. Yep. Yeah. What a win for the Panthers.
Yeah.
What a
Really
win.
good.
What a win. And it turns out we were a little bit behind,
Yeah.
which is good.
It actually happened 2 minutes ago.
Because the people that we're talking to on here, they didn't get the
They were spoiling it. for
ending,
us.
whatever they call that.
They're like, they've been offline for 15 minutes or.
All right, and with that, I think that's going to bring an end to our red zone coverage, Dan. At least on the football side of things, or the live football side of things.
That's good because Clintonville's playing backyard football right now.
Yeah. Which was bound to happen. They're almost at halftime though in Clintonville. Yeah, the parking lot's still wet there. Must have rained for quite a while there.
So who are you most impressed with tonight? Is it Spash? Is it Edgar? What do you got?
Well, both in different ways. Spash, right? Because Edgar could have won the game, right? It could have been I thought coming in, I thought Stratford was maybe a little bit better. But Edgar winning wouldn't have been a shock to me. Now they win by 30 or whatever it ended up being, something like that. That's the shocking part. But anybody could have come into that game and could have said, yeah, Edgar could win. I don't think that was being said about the Spash Panthers. So more surprised about the Panthers.
I was impressed with how Edgar dominated the line, offense and defensive line. Because Stratford, on the screen, Stratford looks bigger.
I think they are bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just really surprising. I don't know a whole lot about Hudson or Spash for that matter, but honestly, a lot of times the entire fall practice culminates in your week 1 game.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Then you got this quick turnaround to play a week 2 game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're expanding the playbook a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You are probably nursing some injuries or whatever the case is.
No doubt about it.
And some teams are a lot better at it than others. And Spash was ready tonight.
Spash was ready tonight. They played within their means. They likely knew we're not going to be able to outscore them in a track meet kind of a situation. And they saw Hudson put 31 on Marshfield, a conference opponent last week. So no doubt they took note of that and likely said to themselves, let's be a little more conservative. I'll watch the whole game over the weekend and find out more, but likely said, let's just dial it back a little bit. Maybe let's slim up our playbook, Keep
Yeah.
some of those other plays out of here, and let's just control the tempo, and let's be the home team. And they were tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Spash played like a team that's going to be in the top half of the conference this year. They should be with a win like that.
It's a big confidence booster. Big confidence booster for sure, as everybody has the conference play starting next week. And that's kind of a notice to the rest of the Wisconsin Valley Conference too, that we played Mukwonago, a perennial power, and yeah, we lost, we did. But guess what, gang? We took a ranked team, we played them at home, and we got 2 home games, and now obviously we're going to have less home games going forward. But we took a ranked team at home, and we took care of them in the 4th quarter, and that other teams in the Valley will take note of that.
Probably the first time that a Valley team has beaten Hudson in football in a while.
I can't remember the last time. Can't remember it. Hudson is just, they're really well disciplined, so obviously that's the coaching in Hudson. And there's other things, and I just know that watching them last year and then this year in person last week and on the TV this week, that they've got the prototypical size for a good high school football team, like a team that can make a run in the playoffs. And so, and I not across the board, but if you use some mathematical equations, Hudson was bigger than Spash tonight, but that didn't matter. Spash had it. They had it. They found a way to do it.
I'm just scrolling through some games for next week, and I don't see a lot of good ones. I'm not going to lie. We got Edgar Pacelli.
Yeah, probably lopsided.
Probably lopsided. I don't know what it's the first game of conference season next week.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So who knows what that looks like, but there's not a lot of conference games that are generally close games.
Right. Generally not. Yeah, generally not. And the conferences, the commissioners are allowed to schedule, and they do save the good games for last.
Yep.
They do.
And they should.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
You want to have a conference championship game if you can prognosticate that out appropriately, right? That's why Edgar plays Colby late in the season.
Just looking here at our post-game coverage, it looks like it's perhaps close to beginning. Again, it's Spash alum Jack Rosicki on the field. He's looking for coach right now. A couple coaches walk past him. I'm going to get to our schedule next week. We can kind of wrap up with that as we wait. I want to hear if Coach is going to give an interview here. We'd like to maybe turn that up and see if we can get that figured out. Volleyball though, real quick. The Marshville Tigers, good volleyball team this year. If you're into volleyball, they now have started the season 9-0. 9-0. They go 5-0 in Sun Prairie today at the Invitational. They beat Sun Prairie West. My mic here, my audio here. Jack's got an interview for us.
All right, we are back here with Coach Eigenberger. Coach, you guys came out. You got your first win in a thriller. What did you like to see from the guys out there today?
Well, we've been challenging our guys all year to play physical, and we knew that Hudson, just like
All year, 2 games in.
was a physical team, and we liked what we saw last week.
Technically correct,
It was a
though.
great
All
place
year.
for us to build on, and that's what we did. We wanted
These
to pound
teams
it until they stopped us, and I think we had a great
I
night
wouldn't
running the
care
ball.
about
And the guys up front,
And
man,
they're
have just been working their butts off. The defense just came up huge
Apples to
time
West.
and time again. So it was awesome. It was a great team effort.
Yeah, you guys came on the second half. They came out and scored a touchdown that way, but you just kept coming. What did you tell the guys at the halftime?
We talked about how to compete, and we talked about great competitors don't just hold the
love
rope,
Coach
but it's a
Andrews.
war battle, they pull the rope. So we
Especially the football coach, the old ball coach, right?
Yeah.
He's just going to give you a bunch of words.
I think they really rallied around that idea.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you very much, Coach. Thank you.
Gosh, he says. Okay, while we wait for the player interview, Braylon Smola. So yeah, Marshville beat Sun Prairie West, Watertown, Beaver Dam, Madison West, and Horicon. But more importantly, 9-0. Here's our player of the game, Braylon Smola.
Running lanes, I did what I could, you know.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna have you look up at that camera and say, like, you know how it goes. I'm Braylon Smola. I'm in the house.
You know how it goes.
All right. Yeah. I'm Braylon Smola, and I'm in the house.
There you go, Braylon Smola. He knows how it goes.
Some athletes better than others at this. this.
So when you get home tonight, look up our player of the game from Everest last night. Fantastic in the closing segment.
Yeah, because you gotta sell
Fantastic.
it, right?
Oh, and he was amazing.
It's
He
not
was
just
good.
all one run-on sentence.
He was good.
To get over.
He was very excited. Offensive lineman. So
Nice.
you give some credit to the O-line.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
Chris Conley now, 2 weeks in a row, has had his player of the game as an offensive lineman at DC Everest.
Well, if
So
that's
that's
the reason
saying
why you
something.
win, then yeah, sure.
That's saying something. Okay, so yeah, volleyball. We'll talk more about volleyball during the week. Next week, football, though, here on the network. Let's end with this, and I'll kick it over to Dan for some final comments. We do go to Elk Mound on Thursday. There you go, buddy. We'll go see Regis at Elk Mound.
Thursday, I golf on Thursday.
Do you, though, with your ankle?
Yeah,
Yeah?
probably.
Think it through.
We will see.
Think it through. I'll remind you on Tuesday.
Okay.
Oshkosh West at Kaukauna, so we get to see the Galloping Goats for the second time this year. Pittsville is at Assumption. These are Thursday games. I'll have some I guess I'll have some commentary on that when we're done, but very small, very very little. And then Friday, it's the other game in Eau Claire County, Memorial North. Yep, Mosney is at Lakeland.
That's a hell.
Smash at Hortonville. Shiocton at Spencer Columbus. DC Everest at Appleton West. Wausau East at Marshfield. Stratford at Amherst. Edgar at Pacelli. Loyal at Auburndale. Wapaka at Denmark. And Wausau West at Wisconsin Rapids. So we get a lot of Valley Football Association games. Next week, I said just a little bit of commentary here. We've been warned now for years that with the lack of officials in the state, all sports, but football was kind of the one they were first looking at, is that we're going to be relegated to a lot of Thursday and Saturday games, and that has looked like that has come true, especially here in 2023. All right, Dan, wrap us up.
Yeah, week 2 is mostly in the books. A couple of games tomorrow. If you get the chance, go out and watch Wausau Newman football. Longest win streak in the state at 30 games. It's
Yeah.
been a long time since they've lost one. They have a tough opponent tomorrow, although it is at home. But just overall, impressed with Edgar, impressed with Spash. Again, a lot of games that you wish were closer, but they weren't. But that is high school football in Wisconsin.
Yeah, a couple teased us,
Yeah.
but yeah. All right, well, congratulations to all the winning teams. If you were on the other side of that, get to practice, get better, and we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, guys.